4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I stress overcome, what for? Train under trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the champions, yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Oh, man, dude. I was all pumped up, ready to go, super ready to rock. Everything was going good. Everything. I was smooth. It was about 9:50. And then I realized, man, there was a lot of things I didn't have going on. And then when I thought I had everything going on, and I put on that intro, which was only supposed to go maybe once or twice, it ended up going a lot of times. And I sincerely apologize for that. When that happened, I go to click on the main, and all of a sudden, for some weird reason, I think it had to do with last night. Because last night, I was playing around, trying to figure stuff out with OBS. And man, my image for the video was super tiny. It was super tiny, like a postage stamp on the screen. I would have showed up and been talking and been all zany and riled up, having tons of fun. You guys would have been like, where is he? There's a postage stamp on the screen. What is that thing? It looks like it's animated. Yeah, that's me. So I had to go through every single scene that I have and try to, play around with the shape of the video. But guys, we got it covered. We've got it covered. I'm sorry that I'm late. I'm never late. It never, ever happens, man. It never happens. Anyways, look, today, good morning, everybody. It is Friday, November 20th. Your boy is here. He's got his coffee. He's got his red straw because we are still on high alert. And we're going to have an amazing day. I got both guns fully loaded with tons of amazing stuff. You guys are not going to want to miss any of this. Not a single eatsy bit. Here, let's switch over here. We are going to switch over to the main banner. So here's the thing. We've got a whole bunch. Oh, and I even look kind of weird on there. I'm a little bit stretched out. What the heck, man? I'm a little bit stretched out. It's a superpower. You guys just don't even know that I have it. I have this amazing superpower to get, stretchy and stuff. We got a whole bunch of stuff, man. Guns akimbo today, folks. How many of you guys, by the way, how many of you tuned in last night to the replay of yesterday morning's show? And I want to thank everybody. First of all, let me say, I apologize for the immense amounts of confusion. Yesterday was a very confusing day. I didn't know what was going on. I was hitting up the manager because he runs this stuff, right? He's the one who put on, I know how to do a lot of things to make sure which stream it goes to. But if he's streaming something from his place, right, from the headquarters, from the headquarters that belong to the powers that be here at Holy Faith Media, if he's streaming there, can't do anything about it, guys. Can't do anything about that, which is a real bummer. Kind of like the fact that my internet, since my wife came home, I wonder if it has to do with her turning on the TV because, man, the internet has dropped really, really hard. It's completely frozen. It's completely frozen. It's unbelievable. I don't know if you guys can even hear it. Got down to 0. She's got to turn off the TV. I don't know if the TV's on. I don't know what's going on up there, man. But I have, my internet should be mega dope right now. My internet should be mega dope. But we had a hard time yesterday. We were really, really struggling yesterday. And we weren't able to stream at all. Okay, so at noon, I said, no matter what, that we are going to continue and that I'm going to do whatever I've got to do. I'm going to do it. Okay. And that I'm going to make sure that we can go ahead and have the show. And it was 3 hours, man. It was 3 hours. Okay. And let me know if you guys are having streaming difficulties because it's down to 0. And then it goes up to 95, then to 0. So let me know if you guys are seeing, very glitchy. That's what I'm saying. I have a feeling that it has to do with the TV upstairs. Don't know, but Holy Faith Media says they can hear us. Yeah. So here's the thing. So we weren't sure we were even going to do the show. And I said, I got to do it, man. I got to do it. I got to do so. We went from noon to 3, and then we went last night. And it was amazing. Okay, now it's up in the green, guys. We're going to hope that this sticks, man. Just stays up in the green. So, ended up replaying it last night. It was on a whole bunch of different channels. Completely bumping. It was amazing, man. Massive numbers of people. And I was in the comment section the entire time. I was hanging out, talking with the folks, having a blast. And we're going to do that today. We're not even going to play around anymore, okay? This is going to have to get super, super rocking. Yeah, oh, Bear Koenig says, yakky, yakky, yak. Get to the point. Bye. It's a 3-hour show, you goon. It's a 3-hour show. He's like, hey, why don't you just get to the point and start and getting really intense? And I'm like, why don't you start your own show, champ, weirdo? Why don't you start your own your own video, Bear Koenig? What a weirdo, man. What a weirdo, dude. Oh, man. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Barbara, nice to see you here today. I hope that it's getting better, man. I hope it's getting better because it's been in the greens. Okay, before we move on, just want to remind everybody, let's go ahead and go to the circle here. Let's go ahead and go to the circle. Make sure check out paleocratdiaries.com. Make sure to go to our members page. It's right there at the top. You can see it because we've made it super duper easy right here. Every bit helps, right? We do this for the children. We do this, in fact, to help our kids to go to school is what we are doing here. So really good time every day. But we have a purpose, right? Our kids go to a Catholic classical education school. And that's why I do this every single day, right? I do this not only to flesh out my gifts and talents, not only to try to make the world a better place than I found it, right? Not only trying to advance the kingdom, but doing that in large part and to demonstrate to my kids, you know, the idea of discipline and working every day, no matter what, you know, that you're working every day, you're doing your absolute best. But also to help to pay for their schooling. We've made the sacrifice. We're excited about it. If you love the show, make sure, go check that out. Every bit helps. And that's why we have made it easy. All right. Last thing before we begin the stories. Last thing we do is we just explain to everybody, because you may be tuned in on a whole bunch of different channels. Right? You might be on YouTube. You might be on Facebook. You might be on Twitter. And you can see this actually right here. And I know that it shows, this is the master feed. This is behind the curtain. So you can see, yeah, people at Ray or Bethany, very glitchy with the crazy face. That's a cute crazy face, by the way. Yeah. Other people, I can hear you. Good morning, by the way, to Ailey. Yeah, oh, there's that Helen back. Oh, yeah, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Okay, I don't know anything about it. Wasn't Helen back here there last night saying something crazy? Yeah, let's see here. James Marone says the Pope seems to be a butt guy. Well, you know, or at least somebody on the Pope's Twitter feed. You know, we're going to talk about that. Let's see. You got a guy. This intro is beginning to sound like a dripping faucet or a barking junkyard dog. Enough time to cut to the chase. It's not necessarily an intro, okay? And maybe there's a way to make sure that you know that it's not an intro. It is a pre-show that allows people to come in. I was doing it before, and it was quiet. You know, it's like you can never satisfy everybody. You can never satisfy everybody. If you play one thing and it says, get ready, people are like, it's the same thing over and over. I need more input right now, dopamine release. And it's like, dude, get in. You got a 3-hour ride ahead of you. You're going to get the socks knocked off of you. Buckle in. Because that's what we do every day. And if you don't know that, you should stick around. Believe me. Believe me, it's always worth it. It is always, always worth it. You know, let's see. How on earth did this thing become a thing, and what the heck is it? Oh, it's that Helen Beck again. That would be fine. Yeah, what the heck is this? What on earth is this thing? So you can see, they're commenting from YouTube. Okay, we got people from Facebook, you know, saying amen. Holy Faith Media, the powers that be. Jeremiah, it just keeps looping the intro. It's not the intro, bro. It's the pre-show. It's a pre-show. Oh, my gosh, dude. Zach says, hi, everybody. It was good to see you, by the way, yesterday, Zach. He's commenting on YouTube. Jessica, of course, is supporting us, saying amen. So as you can see, we have people all over the place. They are people in whether Facebook, whether YouTube. Sometimes we got people on Twitch, on D-Live, and Periscope. We had a bunch of Periscope last night. So it's a whole bunch of fun. All righty. Now, with no further ado, folks, we got to get cranking. We got to get cranking. It's already 10:26. Goodness gracious alive. All right here from the Mirror. Woman who doesn't understand numbers or wind has a point, says baffled viewers. I don't know, numbers are weird. Oh my gosh. Do you guys understand numbers? Do you guys have a hard time with numbers? I'm good with certain things, man. Addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, basic things like that. You start getting into the bigger stuff, man, start having a little bit of a struggle. Man. I struggled in high school. Then. So, okay, the woman took to TikTok. It's always freaking TikTok, man. Isn't it, guys? Isn't it just always TikTok? And again, it's one of those things, I get these articles, man. This is by Paige Holland. We've seen Paige Holland before. I think Paige Holland, and I don't know about Sonia Jane. I don't want to throw Sonia Jane under the bus. But Paige Holland, I have a feeling, man, she's just, lots and lots of TikToking. Oh, no. Let's see. Am I able to play this video?
I just don't understand. The wind.
I think I just don't understand the wind. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to see this. Oh, crud. What is this thing? We're going to go ahead and just refresh that. But the thing, okay, and wind. How many of you guys really understand the wind? I mean, if we're really honest about it. Do you really, really understand it? Where does it come from? Nobody knows, right? We haven't figured it out yet. It might be coming from, a spaceship in the sky. I know somebody who actually believes that. I know somebody who actually believes that it comes from a spaceship up in the sky.
I just don't understand. The wind. What? Like, what is it? What is wind? I don't get it. Never will. Many. Why don't they just print them?
I don't get it. Never will. Many. Yeah. Okay. She's making sure that she's not the only one. She's like, look, there are many people. And not only do I not understand, I will never understand the wind, dude. I'll never understand the wind. Oh my gosh, man. Oh my gosh, this lady. And I like that accent though, man. I dated a girl many years ago. Dated a girl from Prince Edward Island. It was a pretty dope accent, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. It was pretty awesome. She would talk about going oot in the boot. Going over to somebody's house, getting in the car to go get a candy bar with Mark, to go see a fight, that kind of thing. Again, yeah, it's pretty amazing. But yeah, this is a Welsh woman here, so she's never gonna understand. She's consigned herself to the realm of I'm never gonna know, guys, never gonna know. Oh, and it's more than that. Things I don't understand: wind, money, the world. Okay. Oh my gosh, man, we gotta zoom in on this lady. Dude, I'm not even going to try that. Okay. So wind, money, the world, electricity, 11. She doesn't understand 11. What's going on with 11, man? I don't understand that crap. Ocean, space, name of things. Wow. I just don't get it, guys. I don't get it. She doesn't understand, man. Like, she's actually using these very things, which has to baffle her. I mean, it really has to just blow her mind that she's using things that she just doesn't understand. She does it all the time. We do it all the time, by the way. I don't want to throw this lady under the bus. Don't want to throw it. I mean, she's doing enough of that herself. But here we go.
Many off. Like, why? Like, then no one would be poor. I just don't get it. The world. How is it one of the smallest planets, but then 9 billion people live on it?
How is it so small? And yet 9 billion people live on it. Like, the way that her brain's thinking, right, is like, she's thinking, it's really small. It's the smallest of the planets. And it's like comparing it to the smallest egg. You have a dozen eggs. And you're like, that one's the smallest one. If you size it up, measure it up, this bugger's pretty small. How is it possible a chicken was in there? It's a big planet. It's small, relatively. You're comparing us to freaking Jupiter, man. You're comparing us to Jupiter. And by one of the smallest planets. I mean, come on. So you look. It's huge. You know what's smaller than our planet? And by smaller, I mean like way smaller. A person. A person.
Animals. Don't get it. How? Why? Electricity.
Why?
I know it comes from the pylons.
How and why?
Does it get to the pylons?
Why the animals, man? Why? There's people in here. Animals, dude. It's so small. Animals. Why? Do you get it? This lady should shut off her TikTok immediately. Immediately, man.
Like, what? Bit confusing. We'll never understand that. The number 11. Why is it called 11 and not 21? Like 22, 33, 20, like 11. Who thought of that? Don't like it. The ocean. How is it so deep? Why is it so deep? Don't get it.
How is it so deep? It's because, again, man, she's still got that concept of smallness. She's still got it. She's like, how is it so deep? We're a small planet. You know why? I'm freaking out, man. You can see it in her eyes, guys. You can see it in those Muppet eyes, dude, that she is really freaked out. She is baffled by all this. She's probably written down notes just to keep her on track. And she's like, man, this is really hard, man. This is really tough. Why is the ocean so deep? Why are you so deep, lady? This is some deep junk, man. This is some serious one-hand clapping stuff. This is...
I just don't understand space. I just don't get it. Like, what? It just confuses me. Name of things. Who looked at something and was like, that's the sky?
Adam.
What?
Who looked at it and said that, people? People did. I mean, we do it all the time. You know, I mean, think about it. She did. You know, Money Down says she's had an animal. She's probably named it. You know, she's probably named something in her life. It's a tendency we have. It's part of this idea, right, that we are pattern recognizers. And we're not just recognizers of patterns. We have this desire to categorize things and to give it labels and names. And it makes it easy, in fact. It can. It has a tendency to. It can go overboard. But has a tendency to make things actually easier to understand. It's not just a blob of things. Imagine if we didn't do that. Imagine how confused this lady would be. You go to the supermarket, right? Imagine if there was no categorization at all. Imagine if there weren't numbers. And you decide, I mean, you wouldn't be able to function. You would need to function. By the way, there's some excellent arguments, man, about why numbers, in fact, prove God. As well as the idea of categorizing things and how that's even possible. Some really fantastic transcendental arguments about that. Okay, on the edge, conservation creates virtual animal... What? Why do you need to do that? Animal influencers. Oh, that's really great. That's really great. You know what that is, man? That's predictive programming. This group, man, on the edge conservation. Where is this from? VentureBeat.com. Doesn't it just look... I mean, you can see it's kind of a little bit glitchy, this picture here. We'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Let's go ahead and play just a second. It's a teaser. So behind the scenes, on the edge, it's a teaser.
So we're recording animation episodes for animation with different animals that are close to being extinct.
Okay, so they're doing this with animals that are like close to being extinct. Like that little bugger. What is this guy? What is it? I mean, is he wearing glasses? How can he be close to extinct, man? He's figured out how to buy a pair of glasses. I mean, he's doing okay. You would think that would actually help. I mean, it has to help. I mean, he's like, you know, I was really struggling to see. I went to the store. I went over to Costco. I bought myself some glasses. And now I'm doing much better. And they're like, oh, we're so sorry. Actually, in fact, you're almost extinct now. Well, it's maybe because they changed the natural order. Am I right? Am I right, guys? They should have just stayed away from Costco.
I play Eric, who's a pangolin, which is a very cute little mammal with scales. He sort of walks like a T-Rex.
Christmas is not just about strange foodstuffs.
Each one of them has very specific issues. So, for example...
Yeah, each animal has very specific issues. Let's see some of these animals, by the way, with issues. Well, this one, he's wearing a bandana. He's wearing a bandana. He's maybe raving it up. It looks like he's in one of those disco scenes. You know, what's the name of that movie, man? The Kung Fu one, man. My kids are always asking me if there's a second one. It's all green screen. Man, that's going to drive me nuts. You know, it's got Hacker Man. Hacker Man's in that movie. Maybe one of the kids can come downstairs and let me know. Yeah, they can come downstairs and let me know. Got to get the staff on it, Ailey. Got to get the staff on it. I want to say Kung Fu Hustle, but I know it's not. I love that movie, by the way. But so this guy's wearing the bandana. He's raving it up, dancing like crazy, having a blast, maybe doing some magic tricks. Oh, and it's based on that thing. Okay, the cockapoo, right? The world's heaviest parrot. Isn't that the... Dude, that would be... Is that really almost... It's endangered, really? Wow, critically endangered. You know, this whole time I thought that was just, one of those fake animals that was made up by Jack Black. He sang about the cockapoo, right? Let's see. So these people, man, they're obvious. I mean, you can see it in this lady's face over here. I don't know if you can see it, man. You can... Her eyes, her face... You got this animal over here. It looks like its skull's opening up, and there's some other kind of creepy animal coming out of the skull. Don't know what the heck's going on. But it's obviously dystopian. This is preparing us for the brave new world, guys. The brave new world. It's part of the Great Reset. It's part of the Great Reset. We talk about the Great Reset. That's not a joke. But I don't know if this is a joke either. Let's see. Extremely rare white giraffe gets tracker after poachers killed its family. Dang. Dude, that sucks, man. By the way, giraffes are obviously on our side, especially the white ones. Because of the mystical nature of it, guys. I don't don't go there. I'm gonna be in so much trouble. Oh my gosh, dude. So the magical giraffe. We're not even gonna call it white giraffe. All right? The magical one. The magical one. The unicorn giraffe. I don't know what are we going to call this bugger. What are we going to call this thing, dude? I don't want to get canceled over a giraffe comment. Oh, man. Oh, boy. The unusual coloration makes the animal dangerously vulnerable to poachers in the wilderness. I can imagine. Is this, someone sent this to me. In fact, it might have been Ailey. Ailey, did you send this story to me? I don't know about this one, man. What? I don't, poachers tick me off. I mean, I know I talk about the animal, the great animal uprising and stuff. We have a whole bunch of fun with this. But the truth is, man, these poachers, dude, going after animals, dude, like this. Come on, man. Come on, brother. I've got kind of a weird view on animals, man. In fact, there might be a lot of people watching the show that'd be like, really? You eat a lot of meat, brother. You eat a lot of meat. And I'm like, yeah, I do, and I'm kind of one of those guys that says, look, if you kill an animal, it's a good probability you should eat that bugger, and by probability, I mean you probably should, for real, I don't think we should just go around, knocking animals off. And now I understand the argument, by the way, like for example, with the wolves in Michigan, you don't want to be overtaken, you don't want to be overtaken. And it's why they eat, cats and dogs and crap in China. They think they're eating that because they don't want to be overtaken. Now, the cats, I don't know about that. But the dogs, I get it. I get the dog. So the thing is, they don't want to be overtaken. So they go ahead and they bust a move on those buggers. But, but ones that aren't, and animals that aren't experiencing that. Same thing with deer, by the way, in Michigan, for example. It keeps them at a certain level. Right and it's good for them and good for us, in fact, that's the case. So, but yeah, definitely track this guy. I don't know why you send me this, man. You're like, oh, this would be really funny. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're trying to get my own staff's trying to get me censored, man. They're trying to get me flagged. Ailey. Man becomes overnight millionaire after meteorite crashes through his roof. Guys, are you guys scared, by the way, ever? Do you have like even a mild fear of the unknown in that way that says, a meteor might bust through my roof and kill me. or just, take out my legs and I won't have legs anymore. They have to amputate them buggers. Have you ever had that? Where you just wonder about that, or an asteroid, and you've seen it, you've seen asteroid where they come down, or these meteorites, right? They come down and they crash down on us, and boom, when they hit, and you go, dang, that's a huge, crater from that thing. I'd hate to have my house there. You ever wonder about that? I know it's kind of like a fear factory on sciencey and scientific networks. They're always playing this. And so he's got the doom. They do the same thing with global warming. I assume they do the same thing with COVID, but I haven't been watching anything like that. I probably should. I should probably tune in, Tune in, check out the fear factory. I guess all I have to do really is listen to Gretchen Whitmer talk about it. Talking about, it's going to be like 3 9/11s. Wait till she brings up the Holocaust. If it gets closer to the idea that the deep state is going to be outed with all these Trump lawsuits, which we'll talk about later, she might have to pull out the old Holocaust thing here and be like, if you guys don't stay inside for Thanksgiving, it's going to be like, the Holocaust. What a crazy weirdo. But okay, so this guy, meteorite crashes through his roof. Okay, I got it. Extremely rare variety. How'd you pronounce that? Carbonaceous chondrite? Is that how you pronounce it? Extremely rare variety, estimated to be 4.5 billion years old. Dang. Sonia Jane, man, we like you, Sonia. In fact, you're like almost a superhero at this point. You know, you're like Wonder Woman level stuff. Okay, an Indonesian man became a millionaire overnight. And dude, in Indonesia, I mean, being a millionaire, like, is it millionaire in the Indonesian sense? You know, what's going on with this? Overnight, after a meteor crashed through his roof. Joshua Hutagalung, 33, is a coffin maker. Wow, really? From Sumatra. Really? Speaking of Sumatra, man, you got to make sure you got your coffee ready, guys. You got to make sure you got your coffee ready. We have a long day ahead of us, and we're rejoicing. And we are super pumped about it. Like this guy. You know, we may not be, you know, lucky in that sense. You know, I mean, are you lucky really to have, you know, a meteorite crash through your house? You're lucky, I guess, to have that. You're lucky that it didn't kill you. And you're lucky that it was a really rare kind that people are like, I'll give you $1 million for it. Let's see, he's a coffin maker. He became astronomically rich. I see what you did there. I see what you did, Sonia. It's true. After he recently sold the meteorite for over 1 million pounds. Oh, okay, so £1 million, not $1 million. Wow, that's a lot more. And people don't understand that. You know, pound is worth more. He said the sound was so loud that parts of the house were shaking too. Dude, it busted through your house. It busted through your roof. Of course the house is going to be shaking. It was shaking, guys. I know. Because a meteorite, blam, straight through the roof, dude. When I lifted it, the stone was still warm. Dude, that would be crazy. That would be just so crazy, dude. Look at that bugger. Wow. Wow, dude. I'd love to have that thing. Love to have that thing. Maybe we can, once we've made enough money, guys, once I'm no longer a thousandaire, and I'm now, you know, really, truly swimming in gold coins. That's the goal. That's the goal. That's why I encourage kids to, you know, stay fat. Stuff like that. I'm paid by the big food lobby. Paid by the big food lobby, and I'm still making money from Russia. Although Putin, you know, he's been going through some stuff, and I haven't been getting the rubles the same way, man. It's kind of bumming me out, getting a little bit ticked off. Okay, hold on. Real quick in the comments. Let's see here. Actually, we'll go ahead and we'll just pop it up with this right here. Where is it? Okay. Boom. Let's see here. All right. Freya says, I'll catch this later. Time for Mass. Yes, thank you very much. And make sure to pray for us. Pray for us and pray for Donald Trump. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Hello from Wisconsin. I'm late today. It's okay. It's all right. We're always glad to see you there. Ailey asks, do we need something at the top of the screen saying, welcome to the pre-show? Probably. But you know what I've learned? I follow a lot of different people who do stuff like this. It doesn't matter. I know some shows, by the way, you know, some shows like Nick Fuentes, for example, or Jay Dyer, they both do live stream stuff where they'll end up having pre-show music that goes on or pre-show video that goes on for, let's say, half an hour, right? And they're just letting people come in. Sometimes it's even longer than that. And a lot of times you'll have people that they're like, what is this all about? And they get really upset every single time. Every single time there are people who are like, man, it just keeps playing the same thing over and over. And it's like, well, you know, we're letting people come in. It's not really about you hearing it. It's about, so I don't know. I mean, we could, but my bet would be this. It ain't going to fix it. You're going to have people that go, I don't understand this. I don't understand. And typically they're the people that they're going to leave. You know, it's true. Or maybe the powers that be at Holy Faith Media. and the queen of the staff at my show. She's throwing me under the bus on my own show. I'm telling you. She's throwing me under the bus about the pre-show. She's throwing me under the bus, trying to get me censored, trying to make sure that people are flagging me left and right because I'm talking about white giraffes, saying that they're on our side, especially the white ones, knowing that people are going to read all sorts of crazy crap into that. Night Shift says, Ben Shapiro seems to be turning against Trump. Ben Shapiro was never a real Trump person. Never. Never, ever, never. See, this is what people, man, we need to remember this, guys. This isn't a shot at Night Shift, right? Because Ben Shapiro, he has some good stuff on some things, right? I enjoy some of his stuff. Occasionally, some of his thug life stuff is good. When he's in a debate over certain topics, it's pretty good. But generally speaking, the guy is a raging neoconservative. Like, not even close. He's not even close to anything populist in his beliefs. If you ever talk to him and you ask him, or listen to him talk about interventionism, you talk about the Bush years, right? He has some criticisms, but he would be fine. In fact, he didn't like Trump at all when Trump was running. Neither did Glenn Beck, because Glenn Beck is a neocon. I called Glenn Beck's show years ago. He wanted to hear people. He said, if you're against the Iraq war and you think that there's a reason why we shouldn't be in Iraq, because he couldn't fathom any legitimate reason at all why we should be out of the war in Iraq. He said, if you don't believe we should be in it, and you believe we should get out, and you believe we should have never gone, call the show. So I called the show. And I got through to Stu. And I'm talking to Stu, and I'm laying out my reasons why. And he said, are you a Democrat? I said, no, I'm a paleoconservative. And he goes, sorry, we're only wanting to talk to liberals. Click. That wasn't part of the deal. And then he gets on afterward, and all these Democrats, it was more partisan, their rationale. That wasn't mine. But he made it so that there was no, and he says, Glenn Beck gets on and says, look, there's nobody, it's only Democrats who oppose this. It's just because they don't like Bush. And he says there's no reason, and the way he narrated that, the way he framed it, was there's no reason in the world why anyone would be against the Iraq war. Listen to what he says today. Some of us have been right all along. Same thing with oh boy there. Same thing with Ben Shapiro. People have said that my voice sounds like him. I think it's crazy, by the way. That's cuckoo. Yeah, James Marone says, simple, but not a bad idea. Dude, everybody, you guys, where are my defenders, man? Do I have none? Do I have no defenders amongst my own people? Oh, man. How am I supposed to take over the world, guys? How am I supposed to take over the world when I can't even, control my own wolf pack? You guys, it's almost like, you're independent thinkers or something. It's almost like I'm not a cult leader. Oh, all my dreams, all my ambitions are gone. You guys ruined it. I'm done. Bye. It's been good. It's been good hanging out with you. See you later, you jerks. You have weak sauce, my friend. Best fails daily. Weak sauce? Yeah, okay. I don't even know. What are you talking about exactly? What was the weak sauce, man? We're talking about animal uprisings? We're talking about what exactly was it, man, that you were saying was weak sauce? At 10:29? Yeah. Best fails daily. Hey, you know what? Share with all your friends. Tell them, say, look, man, this guy's the worst. Go and give him a downvote. Dude, do it. Send all of them, man. And tell them, dude, to mock me like crazy in the comments. I love that, by the way. I'll engage with you guys. If you have something deeper than that. I typically, don't like to wrestle with people, a little low on the IQ, but I'll roll with you. I'll do it, dude. I don't like bludgeoning the daylights out of dead horses, dude, but I'll kick one around for a little bit. Oh, man. Yeah. Dude, okay, I'm done, guys. The comment section's over. It is done. It is done, dude. Yeah, because Ailey comes back. Ambrose is home. So, okay, another member of the staff. He also thought it was a new intro. No! I can't win, man. Oh, I cannot win. I cannot win, dude. 1T1? Bro, I can't. Talking about the lady who doesn't understand 11. Yeah. Yeah, no way. Okay, yeah, no way. And Tessa both say that they've heard that Ben Shapiro's controlled opposition. In all likelihood, yes. You know, it's like a lot of the folks over at Fox News, right? Because what ends up happening is, depending on who's in power, it's why they're chameleons. You know, in the uniparty they're chameleons, and the ones who couldn't play ball, you know, and maybe this is controlled a little bit too. You know, the ones who couldn't play ball, like William Crystal, folks from the Weekly Standard, they ended up making their way over to MSNBC. That's where they were, and now guess what? They are way high up in the ranks. The neocon, neo-lib uniparty is way up in the ranks with Joe Biden. Welcome back to, you know, the 2000s, guys. Yeah, 2000s called. They want their administration back. I'd almost bet the farm. Yeah, okay, so let's see here. Yeah. Beverly Hills Ninja? Yeah. Kung Fury. That's the show I was talking about. Not Kung Fu Hustle. Kung Fury. Yes, man. All right, so back to business here. This looks really interesting. What's this thing? Is this real? It's over at Breitbart. Feline faith. What are we in for? What kind of weird cult is going to come out, by the way, in the animal revolution? In this great animal uprising, what kind of religion do you guys anticipate is going to be coming our way? We've seen different ways that it's come before, right? The worship of different animals. We've seen it. You can see it in architecture. You can see it in art. You can see it on the side of mountains, apparently. You know, so you can see it all over the place. Pyramids and you know, all that jazz. And so the thing is, what do you think it's going to be now? You know, we're in a technocratic age. In the era of the Great Reset, what is the Great Reset for the animals? Or are they traditionalists? Are they, you know, old school? Hijabs for modest cats grows popular in Indonesia. What? Hijabs designed for cats, which cover the cat's ears, similarly to how the Islamic headscarves cover a woman's hair, are becoming increasingly popular in Indonesia. This is according to Ben Q. The local outlet Coconuts reported on Tuesday. Dude, is that really a real thing? Coconuts. That's the name. You're like, where do you work? Coconuts. Okay. I guess you do, you know. You work over at Coconuts, man. Let's see. The existence of a Twitter account named Text Darianal Shop. Okay. Which documents the bizarre world of online shopping. Do we have to jump on that, by the way? I'm opening that up. I'm not going to go on there today. We're opening up, man. If it documents it, we're going to be on it. We're going to be on it. This is the Ukti character costume for cats. It's a reference to the Arabic word commonly associated with modestly dressed Muslim women. It's on sale for 85,000 Indonesian rupiahs, or about $6. That's what I'm saying. When they said that the person was a millionaire, you got to understand. I mean, you know, 85,000. Dang, dude. That sounds like a lot. And you're like, yeah, it's, you know, $6. And there's that big and small thing again. You know, that the lady didn't understand about the planets. Are cats going to be wearing this? Is this a trend, guys? Is this going to happen? Are we going to start seeing this? You know, because, you know, over in the United States, we have, during certain seasons, you have dogs that wear those cute little sweaters and stuff. I don't know. I don't see many cats wearing those sweaters. You know, or pigs. You know, we got some people who have pigs as pets. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. Is this going to catch on? Do you guys think so? We're all about modesty here, but I don't know, man. That's kind of taking it to a new level. You know, I can't imagine seeing any of these Catholic head coverings, right? Can't imagine seeing any of those things on a lot of Catholic couples' cats. I just don't anticipate it. I think it's going a little too far. A little too far. All right, we're coming down to the last couple here. Let's see. You know, okay, hold on a second. There was one back here that I wanted to talk about. So we talk a lot about the animals. We talked a lot about them so far. So I saw this. This was actually on there yesterday. And I thought, we got to check this out. What is this? We debunk our wife's claim that she's leaving us because we become a conspiracy weirdo. Yeah, we have to debunk this, by the way. Have you ever had somebody that you were interested in or you were dating and they left you because they're like, look, you're really into conspiracies? Did you ever have that? You know, because a lot of the guys, the people that I know, and I don't mean to be rude about this, but most of the people that I know that are like full blown, just, you know, pedal to the metal with everything conspiratorial. And it can get, you know, kind of addictive, where if you believe in one, it's easy to believe in, you know, 1,000 other ones. It's like body modification stuff. But a lot of the people that I know who are into that just neck deep kind of stuff and talk about all the time, they're single. You know, I think that it's kind of a personality trait, and it's just the way that plays itself out. I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying that, and I don't think it's just because it's hard for them to find someone to pair with. I think that's kind of part of a personality that is just in the world. I just do. And so I don't judge them that way. But it's kind of like the hard right traditionalist movement. You don't have a lot of ladies that are, really hardcore into putting out shows and things like that. And there's different reasons for that. There's different reasons. You have some, but you don't have many. And even, I remember the alt-right when that was still kind of a popular phrase to use and stuff. That the alt-right, there's hardly any ladies. And whenever they do pop up, there's very few of them that stick around for too long. And they get really frustrated because of, the way that those guys in that area, in that group behave. So it's kind of the same thing, man. But I'd like to hear your stories, man. If there's anybody you've ever known, or that maybe conspiracies are in fact what brought you together. Maybe you were at a Flat Earth convention. Maybe you were at a Flat Earth convention. And I can't dog people who believe in conspiracies, because people would be like, Jeremiah, you believe in conspiracies. And I would say, absolutely, yes. Totally 100%. There's many of them that are totally true. And I've been talking about them for a very long time. In fact, I'll put this to rest, okay? Is that there was I remember I talked about Freemasons for a long time. I've been talking about them for 20 years, right? And so, been talking about Freemasons. I've been told repeatedly, that's just a fake thing, man. It's made up. That's ridiculous. Especially when I was a secular person, because I was still talking about them and saying that these people are, that entity has been a real problem. And they're saying, oh, that's just completely fake right-wing crap, whatever. We go over to England, and we're over in England for my daughter's Make-A-Wish trip. We're over there having a good time. We're at the Doctor Who Museum, Doctor Who Experience, right? That was in Wales. Had a blast over there. We were in London for days. And as we're leaving, I'm picking up as many newspapers as I could. I think I still have them upstairs in the attic. And I was picking up all these newspapers, and it was like the headline of 2 different papers that day had to do with the fact that, what was it? Ancestry, I think it was Ancestry.com, had come up with an agreement with the Freemasons to out a whole bunch of them that were around during the time of the Titanic and during Jack the Ripper. Because, come to find out, and this is particularly in England specific, because a whole bunch of the people who were involved, take the Jack the Ripper situation, who were involved in Parliament at the time and involved in the detective work at the time, the head people investigating this, they were all part of the same lodge. I think it was over 90%. And it was so dramatic that even the head of education over there said that it was so illuminating to them, that they would, it would be the kind of thing, a paradigm changing event that would require them to actually change details in history books. And I thought, how many people I know that were against that claim, the claims that they said, oh, that's conspiratorial. You know how many of those people I saw online that said, man, I guess I was wrong. I'm really messed up. Maybe I should look into it more. I don't know. 0 people. Let's see. So, okay, these are some of the claims here. Carl, you're unstable. Status debunked. There's nothing crazy about wanting to see the Satan-worshipping pedophiles in our government hunted down. There's nothing crazy about that, by the way. I know this site, thehardtimes.net, they're making a joke out of it. And I think they know how to make fun of people on all sides. But this is obviously poking shots at the idea that that's actually a real thing. It is totally a real thing. Totally 100% a real thing. There are many, many, many of them. And they have this cartoon idea of what Satan worshiping pedophiles are. They have a cartoon idea of what Satan worshiping is. So yeah, if anything, my passion for bringing these reptilian monsters to justice makes me more sane. I have never believed in the reptilian conspiracy, by the way. I don't believe that we have lizard people. I don't believe that we've got lizard people. I have seen the videos. I have seen the videos of the crazy eyes. I've seen Justin Bieber's eyes. I've seen the Queen of England. I've seen her eyeballs, man. I've seen it. I've seen it. Claim number 2. I don't even recognize you anymore. And this happens. I actually know some people. This happens with sedevacantism. the idea that the Pope isn't really the Pope anymore, he's an anti-Pope, and the Vatican and the Church is all just, it's a new church, fake church thing, and that diocesan churches aren't real churches, that there's no mass really going on, no sacraments really going on, that kind of a thing. I've seen that where people start believing that, and you can't recognize them anymore. Same thing with flat Earth. You know, and I've watched a lot of videos that to me are reasons to doubt certain things to do with NASA. I'm not denying that. Even strange anomalies in the sky or interesting arguments that they've made. It's not about that. It's about the idea that once somebody believes a certain conspiracy, and some are more potent than others, that once they believe in that, it can radically transform who they are. And it just becomes what they are about everything. You know, I saw the same thing, though, with kind of the Ron Paul stuff. Anybody who lived through that in, 2007, 2008, in that era, you can see how it just, if somebody gets involved in that revolution thing, they get involved in that, they, all of a sudden, everything's just Ron Paul all over the place. Let's see. Claim number 3, Carl, you are having delusions of grandeur. That can happen sometimes. Status debunked. It is possible that my wife is making such erratic claims because the deep state threatened to kill me if she didn't. You never know. It could be the weird the weird sound waves. You know, it could be the weird all of the signals that they're being sent. And I'm saying that only partially in jest. I don't know if you remember the FOIA request. What was it in Washington State? Where they released a whole bunch of information, and it included all of these things that can be done with frequencies, including the way that people think, right? Sudden irritable bowel problems, involuntary movements. And it showed different mechanisms, and they never really explained it. They never did. It was crazy, man. I think I showed it in one of the earlier episodes. I showed that. Let's see here. Claim number 4, you've become a dangerous person. That's definitely debunked. In fact, most people, I would say 99.999% of people who believe in conspiracies, they are not dangerous. They're not dangerous. And how many riots have you seen where people are outside and they're breaking windows and they're doing that, saying the lizard people? How many have you seen? NASA's not real. I'm going to start burning down buildings. You don't see that. I'll tell you, there are some. Well, we have to recalculate my 99.9. Because the idea of, SJW wokeness cult, so much of that is a conspiracy. All their systemic claims are conspiracies. And so they have this idea, it's conspiratorial thinking. It's voodoo thought. And those people, and they're super dupe dangerous, man. They are super dupe dangerous. Number 5, I'm leaving you. Status debunked. She'll be back. She'll be back. Yeah. Okay, man. All righty. Oh, that's good. That's a lot of fun. Okay, hold on. We'll do one more. We'll do one more here because I got a whole bunch of these ones sent to me. By the way, did you guys know that yesterday was International Men's Day? I think it's fake. I think it's, I think some group made it up and used the term. Can't imagine that there'd be International Men's Day. How did I miss it? And why did nobody recognize me? Why didn't we see? We should have put stuff out, guys. There was just manliness all over the place. We do anyway. I mean, we kind of live that. But at the same time, we could have done it with logos and memes, videos, everything else, little jingles, man, that are pumped up about manliness, about masculinity. I wonder, did Tim Flanders, did he host an episode yesterday of his masculinity morning show, whatever it's called? Super dupe buff and manly morning show. He does it with Kennedy Hall. Did he have one yesterday? And if so, did they focus at all on International Men's Day? I don't know. I don't know if they did. Let's see here. All right, we'll do this one, then we're moving on to serious stories. Babysitter claims that mom demanded 450 pounds, all right, for emotional damages. Okay, what's this about? After feeding veggie kids chicken nuggets. Okay, so she wants 450 pounds. What's the exchange rate on that, guys? Like $500, 500 something bucks? For emotional damages after feeding chicken nuggets to the kids. So they're veggie kids. These are kids that are being deprived. Kids that are being deprived of meat. And this lady's like, not only am I going to feed them some meat, I am going to give them some chicken nuggies. Where was it, man? Were they from McDonald's? Did they go to... Oh, it is. It's a McDonald's Happy Meal. The woman claims she's being charged $600. Wow, $600. Okay. So that's the exchange, by the way. $600, 453 pounds in damages after she accidentally fed some vegetarian kids she was babysitting some chicken nuggies. The babysitter took to Reddit, where she was asking for people's opinions on who was in the wrong after the mom screamed at her for feeding her children dead corpses in the form of McDonald's Happy Meal. People who are strict about veganism, a lot of these people are into the idea that, everything is life, and, the humans aren't on like a pyramid-styled hierarchy of all the living, because we are all living creatures. The world and the globe is alive, Mother Earth, and then they'll go and they'll eat plants. They'll eat plants. They probably share things that are like, plants have emotions. We can manipulate emotions, man, with some 432 what are they called? Binaural beats? I don't want to dog binaural beats. I actually listen to that stuff every night for falling asleep very fast. It works, man. It's where it goes in each ear. It's like boom, 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 boom. In each ear, it's that subtle sound in the background as you got kind of this awesome synth sound kind of layered over top of it. Oh, yeah, man. Amazing dreams, super lucid dreams. But these people, they're into the idea that, everything is life. Don't go and hug some trees. Don't tear stuff down, that kind of a thing. And I'm kind of agrarian on that. I believe that we should be better about that sort of thing. And concrete jungles suck. You need way more plants and trees, flowers, especially colorful things. You need a lot more of that, and a lot less concrete and asphalt. Let's see. So babysitting a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old who asked her if they could have a chicken nugget Happy Meal. Oh, so they asked her. They're like, can we please? This happens, man. I've been there before. I had a kid over at the house one time, and they kind of in the same situation. Well, no. I'm so sorry. It was the family. It was family related to me. I won't say who, but we were all over at my grandma's house in Pennsylvania, and the kids, they hadn't eaten normal food in a long time. They'd been making it, kind of mushing it into kind of a watery soup and drinking it through a straw. I could imagine that it was really, really terrible. And that the kids, they looked malnourished at the time. They looked very pale, very fragile and stuff like that. Man, they were desperate for hot dogs. They smelled those hot dogs, and they were like little puppies, their eyes almost watering, saying, can we please have some hot dogs? I think we gave them some. They went into the closet, and they're eating them in the closet. You could just hear them scarfing it down. You could hear them scarfing it down. And they were so happy. They were happy to eat those hot dogs, man. Oh, it's a now deleted post. Okay, so the mom came home early and saw her children eating chicken nuggets. She literally ripped the nuggets out of their hands, started screaming that I'm horrible for allowing her children to eat dead corpses, and yelling at her children for eating the meat. So she's really mad. She's flipping out. Probably sticking her finger down their throat. You better puke it up. Puke it up right now. You don't eat dead people. And a lot of these people, and not all of them, but a lot of these people also don't have any problem with abortion. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Don't eat that egg over there. Don't eat the egg over there from that chicken. But you know what? You're only 19 years old and you haven't lived life. Why don't you go get, the baby killed over in that abortuary? It's messed up crap, man. Messed up crap. Real wicked crap. She claims the mom kicked her out without paying her for babysitting, and then later sent an angry message for the mother demanding that the babysitter fork over $300. Oh, so they're changing. What is this? For emotional damages. How did it get up to $600? It says $300 right there. Found a lot of support on. Yeah, okay. So maybe she added to it. No, she did not. I don't know, man. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? How many of you, by the way, are vegans or vegetarians, and not for reasons that are medical? How many of you out there? And have you tried it? What did you think? I did the vegan thing for a while. I did the vegan thing for a while. And I started getting real dizzy. I was, it was difficult. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't clean veganism. There were certain foods so it wasn't whole food. If that makes sense. I later started adding fish, pescatarian stuff. That was really great. But I thought, man, I'm eating fish every day. This is cool and stuff. But man, I gotta have myself a steak. I do. I gotta eat some eggs. I gotta get the cheese, man. Give it to me. Give it to me now. And now I'm a foaming at the mouth meat eater. Howl, howl, howl. Every day. Every single day. Speaking of every day, moving on here, guys. Moving on here. Let's see here. Okay, speaking of every day, you got to go. PaleocratDiaries.com. Okay, it's the website. In fact, I'll show you what you're going to see. I wish I could make this screen smaller. I've got it scaled for the big time. So, okay, this is the video, by the way, for all those who are giving me flack. The video at the top of the screen is what I took it from. So when people complained it was silent, they would, not on my website. We got to figure out a way. You might have a point. Maybe. Just maybe. Freaking jerks. You guys are jerks, man. Oh. Yeah, so you can see here, I got all posts, must see Jeremiah's speech at the Lansing rally. Okay, movie review, An American Werewolf in London, spooky spiders, flying cars, stop the steal, election day, call to arms, sunrise exposed, different episodes. We're behind on the episodes. I'll post maybe a bunch of those today. And then you've got the older, yeah, wow, okay, so stuff's different. The rise and triumph of Trump's deplorables, and these are podcasts, actually, speeches and book reviews. The masculinity of future men, tolerance, diversity, and is it cultural appropriation? What would that be? Cultural prejudice? I don't know. So you've got all different ones. Now these are podcasts. It's just audio, and these are done back in 2019. So I haven't played those on the show. Those are deep dives, by the way. We'll take all different videos. We will take all different videos and books, and we will go through and we'll go through chapters of them. And I would break it down, tell stories. It was a whole bunch of fun. So you can make sure to go and check it out. And as I said, it's got not only the members page, which I told you can go ahead and click on, but it's also got this. It's got a services page. And the services page has this, okay? It has interviews. You can book interviews. You can click on book now, and that will take you to where you can connect with me. We can set up an interview with the show, stuff like that. Some people reach out to me on social media. I would prefer not. I try to limit my time on platforms like that. Even when I post on there, I try to do it from outside platform like Hootsuite. I don't want to go on here, man. I don't want to go on there. And if you'd like for me to come and speak at your school or church or club or small group, make sure you can book now right here, public speaking. And I don't know about that outfit. I don't know. It's not the worst, but it's so anyway. But yeah, so the cost would be simply the cost of the trip, whatever that is. And I'm talking driving. I mean, we make it as cheap as we possibly can and negotiate. Get on the phone, coordinate, because it's not the idea of making somebody pay huge sums of money. Lodging, which would be just making sure that I'm chilling with you. Wouldn't even make you pay for the food. Say, look, if you want to, I'd pay for my food, pay for my beer, whatever. But lodging. So whether it's at a house, whether it's at motel, hotel, 5-star kind of thing, that's fine. But I prefer just chilling in houses, and of course, plus an offer. So if it's kind of like an offering that you guys want to do, and you say, hey, let's give some money, let's throw some bones at this guy, and pass around the hat, you can go ahead and do that, and you can book now, and we'll coordinate that over at PaleocratDiaries.com. Now, I'm gonna go ahead here. We're gonna switch over because I do this. I've been doing this every couple days. Well, I've been doing it actually the last couple days here, but I want to do it again. Because this show, number one, it gives my voice a break. I've been pushing for 3 hours, okay? So it gives my voice a little bit of a break. But I want to go ahead and I want to share this video again of the school, right? Because why do I do this? We're about to get really intense. I do the fun stuff. That's super fun. That's easy to do. But why do I put myself out there on really controversial issues for 2 hours a day? Why do I do that? Why do I go just pedal to the metal? High octane stuff every single day, giving it my best. What is that about? Is it really about the money? Right? Is that really what it's about? No. It is about what you are going to see right here. It is about my children's school. It's about ensuring that they can continue and making sure that I'm doing what I can in my own life using my gifts and talents, just like you, each and every day, putting that elbow grease, man, getting down there, getting dirty, doing what you got to do to make things happen. You got to do stuff to get stuff done. And that's what I do every single day. And we appreciate all of you. We appreciate the contributions that you make, because every bit that you give us, every single bit, including the public speaking, anything that I get that would be categorically profit from that, goes directly into sending my kids to this school. And I'm really proud of it. And I'm proud of this video. So the next couple minutes, I'm going to step away. Make sure you get your glass, because after that, we're going to do our amazing video, our amazing Wolfpack song. And so you got to get your glass ready. Make sure, if you've seen this video already, make sure to do that. If you have not seen this video, please stick around. I promise that you'll enjoy it. You may want a pack of tissues. In fact, a box of tissues. In fact, maybe two.
You see me in my uniform, and you think I'm going to school.
You think I'm studying, doing my homework, practicing my Latin.
You're not completely wrong. The truth is this: what looks like an academy is in fact where I am learning to dig deep.
To search with an attentive heart what all men seek, but few can name.
Wisdom, knowledge, it's the fountain of life and holiness. A sacred temple, the very house of God and gate of heaven.
What I seek, what I have learned to desire, is the desire of the everlasting hills. I am looking to lose myself in the sacred heart of Jesus.
It may look like I'm going to school, but in truth, I am learning to chase after my Savior.
Yes.
The King and center of all hearts.
And I will not rest
until I take hold of him,
who has already taken hold of me.
We will find.
Those are the halls. That is the church. Our kids are ascending the heights, intellectually, professionally, vocationally, morally, spiritually. They're not just leaders of the future. They're saints. I love this school. I love everything about you, Sacred Heart. Changed our lives. It's changed our lives. And I am grateful. I am grateful for everything that they do every single day. They are an amazing school. They do amazing things. And the children there, it's a powerful thing. You know, I know so many people, and we've been to some good public schools. We've also been to some that were rough. You know, and the teachers were great people. In fact, we were friends with principals and teachers. We never had an issue like that. But it's difficult. And I understand, you know, I'm not even meaning to dog that, you know, because I understand a lot of people in modern times, you got people going to work because they have to. They're not making money. I get it. It's a really tough thing, you know, but at the same time, you can see story after story of the kind of depravity that's going on. And not just with the teachers, not just with the ideas that the teachers are indoctrinating those children with, anti-American, anti-God, but the kids themselves. It's gotten unruly. And you go to the school here, it's disciplined, it's orderly, structured. And they have a vision. In fact, it's kind of an interesting vision because it doesn't just go from the present to the future, but from the future to the past, and says, what are you ultimately going to be? They're trying to create saints. They're trying to create leaders, people who have an entrepreneurial spirit, people who will be devout in their faith, devout in their home life. They're trying to build that and mold that. They have a vision of what this is. And they're saying, what is required of that? For example, what's required? Here's the only one I'll say today. What's required to get to where you want to be with that? One of the things it would be if you need to go to college in order to, or a vocational school, to get to where you need to be, you may need to get accustomed to the idea of studying for, let's say, 3 hours a day. When I was in college, that's a standard. That's a normal day. You're going to be studying something, reading books, doing homework, writing essays for about 3 hours or more every single day. Well, how do you prepare students for that? We see right now kids go to college all the time and they're doing all these remedial courses. Tons of them. And some of them even on just how to structure your day and how to get the idea of sitting down and reading and focusing and doing some homework and knowing what your mission is in all of this. And you're like, you're getting this in your freshman year? They're doing that in grade school. They're building that character up that every single day when you go home, you have to dedicate some amount of time. And as they get older, that amount of time is going to expand so that once they get to college, they're not going to be blown away by the idea that they're going to have to sit down and do that for 3 hours a day. They're not going to be blown away by it. In fact, they will have been built up and taught how to structure their lives in such a way that by the time they get there, that's easy peasy lemon squeezy. That's a huge deal. People don't understand that. All right, let's get over here. All right, guys. Before we get to these comments, and I got to deal with one. I'm going to deal with one comment for sure. There's somebody who was talking about how they can't trust me anymore because I'm drinking coffee through a straw. Because I'm drinking coffee through a straw. It's not hot coffee. Right? It's cold coffee. It's cold brew. I'm not steaming it up and then letting it sit out. It's cold brew. There's a lot going into this. But for a high-octane show of this caliber, you got to drink it through a straw. You must. Straight to the dome. You have to. And so you should trust me all the more. You should trust me all the more because I'm putting myself on the line saying, I know what I'm in for every time I'm pounding that coffee through this straw. Because we have a lot to cover right here in the next hour and a half. And you're not going to want to go anywhere. You're going to want to make sure to share it with all your friends. But before that ends up happening, we got to play our Wolfpack song. So make sure, get your glasses, whether it's coffee, whether it's water. I don't know. Maybe not the water people. Unless you got a medical exception. Not the water people. If you've got tea, if you're drinking the wine, or you got a big mug of beer, it doesn't matter. If you're raising up a taco, I said yesterday, what did I say yesterday? Corn on the cob. Raise that bugger high to the sky. Because we are going to howl at the sun. We're going to let the world know that we are alive. And that we are grateful for yet another day that God has given us. And we're rejoicing and we're glad in it, no matter what comes our way. And in fact, right now, it's wicked evil, folks. It is wicked bad. And that's why we're grateful for the Wolfpack right here at Paleocrat Diaries. That's why we're grateful. And we resolve every day. I don't know where you guys are working. I don't know where it is that you guys are right now in your life as you're listening. Some people listen on their lunch break. Some people have it in their ear while they're working because they're allowed to. Their job allows them to do that. They may be working out on the golf course, right? Fixing up, mowing lawns at the golf course. They may be pouring cement. They may be driving truck. They may be nurses. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you are. You may be a teacher in a school that's sitting there saying, oh yeah, I'm going through the app. And really, you're going through Paleocrat. And so it doesn't matter where you are. And I don't encourage that. Teachers, you got to focus. But you can listen later. I'm sorry to tell you. But no matter where you are, no matter what you do, even if you're at home, especially, man, if you're the housewife at home, we have a lot of the ladies. We got a whole bunch. And I'm super pumped about how many ladies love this show because we love the ladies here. We do. Okay? No matter where you are, that you've resolved in your heart today, like every day, to give it your best, to never give up, and to keep on smiling, remembering that you and me and all that we know will one day die. So we have to resolve right now to do our best, and there's no better way to do it than to be reminded by our boys and girls now in the Wolfpack video. Here we go. Yeah. Woo. All right, kids. Here we go. Look at little Louie. Look at little Brian. Adam, Bethany, Annabelle. Here we go, kids. Straight to the dome. Woo! Come on. Ha! Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for this day, Lord. I'll give it everything I got. Come on. Howl at the sun. Yeah. Clap. Oh, dude, I love it. I don't know if you guys noticed that. I wish I could rewind it. I cannot. I don't know if you noticed that, but it's got this little Louis. He's pointing because he's dancing, watching the Wolfpack song. He's watching it. And he's super pumped up. He's howling and dancing around and clapping and twirling and falling down and having fun. But there at the end, he knows he's coming up. He knows, because it was the old video where it was Little Bry. And it was, now my dog is barking. Even my dog's howling. Even my dog is howling. You know, but the thing is, it was Annabelle and her brother. Okay? Annabelle's our in-house resident fact checker. And it's kind of hard to see her. I zoom in on one part. And she's got her glass raised high, man, and she's bobbing that head. Love that girl, man. She's a pretty princess. An amazing person, by the way. Man. Great ideas for her life and where she's going in her life. You know, but the thing is, he knows he's coming, and he's pointing up, and he goes like this, and right at that point, he goes, ding, like that, right as he points. And I timed it just right. Timed it just right, man. All righty. Let's see here. John Clore says, LOL, you have a great show, man. Clap 100% massive power. Yes, totally. I appreciate it, man. We give it everything we got every day. And you do some great stuff. Really great to be connecting with you. Definitely. The real Trump supporters will not turn on Trump. That's true. That's true. And look, we're going to see a lot more of this, by the way. We're going to see the chameleons. We're going to see the people who they will turn on a dime because they turned on a dime when he won the primary. And they're all about the money. They are all about the money, man. Brian says, if it means I can become a millionaire, I'm no longer afraid of a meteorite crashing through my roof. Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. It's one of those things. It's like, you know, are you going to start praying, dear Lord, please send a meteor through my roof? I don't know, or you're just open to the idea. You're open to the idea. You got to be open to the idea, too, that it may, decapitate your legs and stuff. Or other things. You don't want. Zach, meteorites falling to Earth happen all the time, but they usually burn up before impact. I saw 3 shooting stars when I was stationed at Holloman AFB in New Mexico. Dude, yeah, what branch were you in, bro? What branch were you in? If you've already told me, dude, I apologize. Yeah, happy belated Veterans Day. I don't know if you're a veteran or if you're still active. Let's see, right there. Ardua K, I can no longer trust you. You drink coffee through a straw. Laughy face. That's the person. Ardua, you got to trust me. Come on. You know it. We got to do it. We got to do it. Like I said, we're high octane. We are high octane here. We're pushing hard each and every day, giving it everything we got. And you can't do that sipping through a straw, especially when you have the walrus growler mustache like I do. Then I'm all like this. You'll have like coffee dripping off my mustache. Yeah. I have to have my staff when I eat food. I have some of them cut up my steak. Other, my secretary pulls my mustache to the side while the staff feeds me. And the other ones are using the, palm branches and stuff. Oh my gosh. Sir Law says Tucker's a good cop on the Fox on the Fox good cop bad cop program. It's true. But he's been consistent on a lot of things. I'm kind of surprised at the way he treated Trump's attorney yesterday. Especially because she gave him an affidavit that had not been released before and was willing to set him up with a statistician, a tech guy that apparently would be able to break down the numbers that their argument relies on, that breaks it down. And he didn't like that. And I guess he got really upset, and she told him, she said, I don't want you texting me ever again. Pretty bad. There's some truth though to what Cernovich said, Mike Cernovich, where he said, really, this is a time we're looking at the possibility of a Tucker moment, that if Tucker turned on Trump, there'd be a lot of people that would follow Tucker. you know, and so it's kind of it's an interesting thing, you know, and look at what Fox is doing, man. Fox knows they're in trouble, and they need to keep his brand on Fox, and he's got an incentive, a financial incentive to stick around. And they're going to make sure that he's got a huge financial incentive to stick around because he's in a very important voice over at Fox. In fact, maybe one of the last remaining voices that's even important. I gave up on Hannity, just so you guys know. Hannity, you know, he's been a neocon for a long time. He was a rah-rah guy for almost anything that came down the pike to do with George W. Bush. And he ended up, at times, just like Bill O'Reilly, turning on the whole immigration deal, starting to no longer criticize, because Murdoch was a supporter of the Gang of Eight and their quote-unquote comprehensive immigration. And so, you know, they turned on that, where they was like, you know, I read a really great article, actually, over at Conservative Treehouse. It's over there. I think they posted it just yesterday, giving background, a deep dive into the background of Fox and Fox's position on a number of issues, including Trump and Trump's core issues. And who's been on the other side of that? Yeah, Tucker's always been a gatekeeper. It's true. It's true. He was a gatekeeper back even with the Hardball show. Remember that? Not Hardball. What was that? Was it Crossfire? Okay, so you had Crossfire. He was on that. And he's been a gatekeeper over at Daily Caller. By definition, that's what he is. Over there. Annette says that Hoots says hi. I mentioned Hoots before. That's my brother. I mentioned him. In fact, I told you guys I was going to play a video next week about my mother and what my mother, lessons about life that my mother and my brother have taught me. My brother was in a car accident when he was 6 years old. And it's a really tragic story. I will not tell it now because I will cry. And I don't want to tell it, but I love that guy. He had a closed head injury. He's a walking miracle. And I absolutely love him. Trump not. Rudy's sweaty, dye-streaked fantasy presser designed to appease the bunkered Fuhrer. Bunkered, he's out golfing, you weirdo. He's out golfing. Why is he out golfing? Because he's super calm. He's super calm. Ain't no thing, man. He ain't worried about it. And he's got people dealing with it. He doesn't need to deal with it. And the idea, yes, I can make fun of Rudy's sweaty, dye-streaked face. You have to be able to make fun of that crap. I'm not going to sit there and say, no, it's fine. Don't make fun of that. Dude, it's gross. He's got dye dripping down the side of his face. He wasn't, obviously wasn't a professional thing. Maybe he was using the Kool-Aid stuff to dye the side of his hair. That got deep here. It's actually a deep thing. Iraq should have been broken up into 4 countries with part for the Shia, the Sunni, the Kurds, and the Christians. The Christians in Iraq got massacred and the rest moved away. It's totally true. I've been open to that idea for a long time. That's, in fact, the position that I maintained. Was that, I didn't believe we should have gone in the first place. But when you go in and you've done something like that, there's things you've got to do. And I don't use that argument to say we should stay there for a super long time. And if we leave, there's a vacuum. That is inevitable, by the way. That's inevitable. You're going to hear that because Trump talking about pulling troops out of different places around the world. But, and so if he does this, and especially if it turns out that he ends up not being president for the next 4 years, which is a possibility. We're not delusional. We know that this can go different ways. We talk about it. And we've talked about how that's not an end game for us. We're not like, well, I guess it's all over. We're doomed. No, not even close. Because we've had a long vision for the entire thing, But if he does that, you're going to hear a lot of people resurrect that argument of the military-industrial complex and the neocon, neo-lib uniparty and the Israel lobby and stuff like that, that they're all going to say the same thing. They're going to say it's going to create a vacuum, and that vacuum is going to cause all sorts of problems. It's inevitable, by the way. Anytime you leave, that we would be there literally forever, if you ask them to really be honest, they would say, yeah, we probably do need a presence there, like a big military presence, for the remainder of time. Worst incumbent lost since 1932. You know what's funny about that? That's Trump not. It's one of these Trump hater people. What's funny about that is he didn't lose. You can see it in the numbers. We've actually broken this down every day. We show evidence here. We actually believe in evidence. We believe in science on the show. And so I know there's shows that don't, by the way. And they're just all about hearsay. We are not about that. So I don't, and that's why, just so you know, That's why I didn't promote the idea of the Sharpie markers. I had people talking about it, and I said, nope, ain't going to go there, because number one, it's a lot of speculation. Number two, there was nothing more than a couple videos that were going around of people admitting something from years before. And I said, and the idea that maybe we'd use this more than once, even in my own precinct. And so I said, I'm not going down that road. You don't need to. And instead taking statistical analysis, making sure that you can replicate studies. Okay, making sure, because if you can replicate it, try to debunk it. I mean, the stuff's out there. It's numerical. Yesterday we showed a 3-minute long video that talked about the statistical impossibility. In fact, this is an impossibility of those amazing dumps of Biden batches that went all over to many different places in many different states. So it wasn't as if it was all in one place, in one county, spread out, where the spread between Biden and Trump was identical. Let's say 50.5 to 49. And you have, let's say, 20 places where it's the exact same thing out of the dumps that they had. Or out of the 53 dumps, I think it was like 6 that didn't have the exact ratio of a difference. That's a statistical impossibility. So, I mean, statistical, it's so outrageous, it's so astronomical that it would be impossible, right? That we would look at that and say, it's not even realistic. It's a joke. And so that's what we would say about it, you know? And I'm looking over there and I'm saying, is that a Spider-Man one? I'm really hoping it's not. Really hoping it's not. You know, but the thing is that we talk about these issues. We've shown video after video after video of people tampering with the election. And you're probably the same kind of person, by the way, that says that there's no evidence. And so we really cannot actually take people like you seriously. And I'm sorry to tell you that. You know, I hope you stick around, but, you know, very, very, very unbelievable kind of person. Andrew says the COVIDian cult is taken overall. Totally true. We're going to talk about it. Let's see. Glenn Beck now supports Trump instead of ranting, pray for naysayers. You know, it's true. It's true that he does. I think he's seen the light on this. I think he's seen the light. But he's. I don't want to bust on him, man. He's got a lot of issues, but it's similar ones that I actually have, and so I don't want to bust on him about that. You know, but he's definitely gotten better. Would Catholics baptizing their pets be the equivalent of putting a hijab on your pets? This is clownery. Yes. It'd be similar to that. Kind of crazy. Let's see here. It seems that if someone is a hardcore conspiracy theorist, they would also view relationships as a conspiracy. Probably. Yeah, the human race is very, very confused. Last one here before moving on, because we've got a whole bunch of comments. Crying Virgin de Guadalupe is Tucker Carlson talked about Archbishop Vigano. That's true. It's true, he did. You know, and so, but you also have to understand, like, with these big companies, there's a difference. And there's a reason why I've never even submitted an application to a major network. Never done it. I went to journalism school. I was highly successful. I was not only successful with the newspaper, quickly becoming an op-ed writer. Right? I barely did any beat writing because they were like, look, this guy can write op-eds. He's really good at it. I wrote the most widely circulated op-eds at the college that I went to. I was awarded by Leadership Institute in Washington, D.C., as one of the top 25 conservative student activists in the country. So I'd spoken at Michigan State University. I'd spoken different places. And my material, in fact, was used as part of the curriculum for a class at Michigan State University. Not only videos of mine, which videos they were actually radio segments that I just recorded, kind of like I do now. But they were radio segments that I recorded, as well as blogs that I had written, essays and articles, things like that a professor at Michigan State included in his class, and it was required reading and viewing for the class. So to win awards at Convocation for, in fact, three totally different departments at Olivet College. You know, so to win those for public speaking, for creative writing, and for political science. And for political science, I won 3 years in a row. And so my name's on a plaque at the school. And so I have the qualifications to apply to numerous different places. Not even a problem. My resume is massive. And you sit there and you say, just mere qualification. But the idea is when you go there, you are beholden, even the bigwigs are beholden ultimately to the narrative and to the ideas that are being allowed on their station by the gatekeeper. It's why Judge Janine wasn't able to be on to host her show. What was it, last weekend or 2 weekends ago? Wasn't allowed to do it because she was going to talk about what's going on with the big steal. She was going to talk about it, and they didn't want anything to do with it. They didn't want anything to do with her talking about it. So, and Judge Janine, she's no joke in that time slot. Massive, okay, major player, and even her. If you haven't seen the movie, there's two of them. One of them is called Corporation. It's a very good documentary, and there's a segment on there about Fox, in fact, where they went in, these investigative journalists, they went in, and they were talking. They did some kind of research on these cows, these cows that, you know, pumping out milk and meat and stuff like that. And when they got there, these cows were like falling over. They were bloated. They were oozing stuff out of the udders. It was gross. And they saw that they were being just pumped full of hormones and all sorts of crazy just concoctions going into these animals. And it was making it so they couldn't even walk around. They were staggering and falling over. It was really bad. And they're feeding them to people. And they started looking up this medicine. They started looking up the supplements that they were giving. And they were going to talk about it. They got the whole thing set up. They're going to talk about it. And it was a huge premiere for this show, huge. And the day of the show, they got a letter from the lawyers from the network saying, you can't do it. Can't do it because we have sponsors, and our sponsors involve people who are involved in that, and you can't do it. And if you do it, you'll be fired. Those people don't work for Fox anymore. It's a crazy story about that, you know, and you can see Outfoxed is another one, you know, and I don't agree with everything that was in the movie Outfoxed, because the way that they frame it is that this is unique to Fox News, that Murdoch and Ailes, you know, they're these puppet masters and stuff. That's partially true. But at the same time, that's true of each and every network that you watch. Even the ones that aren't newsy. And so, you know, you have to understand how that works. And so it's not like an independent show like this one. There's a major cost factor to doing that. An independent show, I'm putting this on by myself. You know, all of the articles you see, I have to go through and read pretty much all of them. A lot of people, you know, people send me stuff. Memes, you know, pre-show stuff. And during the show, the videos, created them. The music, wrote them, except for the intro and the music during the split screen at the end. That's something I got from YouTube. And so one of the free sample stuff. And I really like it. But the thing is I write the music. I make the videos for the intro. Those are mine. I made the videos for the ending. I have to do all that stuff. At a major place, you wouldn't have to. That's actually a benefit to working for a major place. You know, but you also have the thing that you're not as independent as even you project yourself. And that's part of it, is that you project yourself because you have to, you're fitting a part of the mold that is ultimately what that station and network is trying to project to its audience. That's what it is. Which is why there's a lot of actors and people who are just reporters that don't know jack crap about political economy. They know nothing about media ecology. They know nothing about media theory. They know nothing about any of this stuff. They don't know jack crap about geopolitics. They couldn't get into a discussion about theory for the life of them. And instead, all they do is they debate he said, she said. They go and they quote somebody and they report that as news. That's a guy given what he thinks, what he says, and that's the gist of it. That's the heart of it nowadays. It's real bad. Okay, we're moving on. I'll talk about the vegan stuff here when we get back. All right. By the way, great comments, by the way. I love you guys, man. And make sure, I love that you guys comment. It's very, very important that you do. It's also very important that you like the video. So if you're watching right now and you haven't liked it, make sure you like it. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. There's a little bell too. So I don't publish very often other than the show. That's it. And so if you want to be notified when we do go live, because sometimes it's 10:15, whatever. Yesterday was noon. That's an anomaly. That's not normal. But make sure to subscribe, make sure to like, make sure to share. If you're on Twitter, share the video. Tag your friends. If you like certain articles and you say, man, there's a way that you can actually, during the show, you can right-click on the time of the video and save the video at the current time. And when you do that, when you copy in that URL anywhere else, if someone clicks on it, it takes it directly to that time. So if you want people to see a specific story, then make sure you do that. But make sure you share. That's the main way that we get out there, guys. It's the main way. I had somebody yesterday, man, was saying they saw the speech that I did at the rally in Lansing, and they're like, wow, dude, there's only like 100-something views on this. Why, this is something that should be seen by a lot more people. And I almost wanted to ask the guy, and I guess I'm asking him now, did you share it? Because if not, man, it's like screaming into a pillow. It's like screaming into a pillow. If you like it, make sure you share it. Let everybody else know. Greatly appreciate it, guys. By the way, you should share that video far and wide. It's really, really good. Let's see. Report estimated 90,000 former Boy Scouts accuse leaders of sexual abuse. This is by Penny Starr over at Breitbart. The number of former Boy Scouts who say that leaders sexually assaulted them has risen to at least 90,000. Were any of you guys involved in the Boy Scouts, by the way? Were any of you involved in the Boy Scouts? I thought about it. I was involved in Royal Rangers. I don't know if you guys even know what that is. I don't know if you know, man. The Royal Rangers. That was kind of the Boy Scouts for the Assemblies of God. So they had all the same levels and stuff. We had powwows. It was a whole bunch of fun. It was a blast. But I never went to anything with the Boy Scouts. I thought about it for a minute, but by the time that I thought about it, it was the idea that, hey, man, I wanted to go somewhere with the kids. I wanted to go spend some time, go out, go camping, go fishing, stuff like that with the boys. But by the time I talked to somebody about it, they're like, oh, well, we're actually just the Scouts now. I thought, the Scouts? Why are you just the Scouts? And they said, oh, because we're open to, boys and girls now. And I said, okay, well, I was thinking about doing something with the boys. Well, you should still come out. It would be great. I said, no, you're not understanding. With, the boys. With the boys doing manly things. Doing stuff that is good in the training and rearing of young men. And by the way, this is not the way to rear young men. These perverts were rear-ending them. And that is deserving of serious punishment. They get what they deserve, man. They get what they deserve. They were sellouts in the end. And the ones locally, man, the people, they really reached out to me a lot. And I said, look, you guys just seem to have really fallen for this SJW crap. You're really pushing, sexual perversity and stuff, opening up to, tranny stuff and all this. And they said, oh, we don't do that. I went to the leaders of the local chapter, the local group. I went to their Facebook pages. They were sharing tons of that on their wall. So I took screenshots and shared it back. They never got back with me. I said, you can't tell me you're not doing that. You're doing it yourself. The claims are part of an organization's bankruptcy proceedings. Quote, we're devastated by the number of lives impacted by past abuse and scouting and moved by the bravery of those who've come forward. The Boy Scouts said in a statement, is it the Boy Scouts or just the Scouts, man? We're heartbroken that we cannot undo their pain. The response we have seen from the survivors has been gut-wrenching, and we're deeply sorry. Yeah. Yes, man. Here's somebody else who's deeply sorry. There's somebody who's deeply sorry about this. Vatican asks Instagram how Pope's account liked photo of Brazilian model. People need to understand this, is that the Pope probably has an entire team of people who deal with this. So I know it's easy to say Pope Francis was on late at night, flipping through Instagram, seeing some hot Brazilian in her butt and liking it. That's possible, but statistically unlikely. Okay, to say they rarely ever is that. There's only some people who it's like, no, that person is the one. That person alone. And that would be people like Donald Trump. I've heard anyway. And although I've heard people say that he's got people that still help out, or at least they have at different periods in time. But he's one of those few, man, that it's like he is the controller of that. The Pope, I do not believe this. Maybe I'm wrong, man. If I'm wrong, let me know. Natalia Garabato joked she was going to heaven after a picture. Is that how you pronounce her last name? I probably hacked it to pieces. Doesn't matter. Natalia joked she was going to heaven after a picture was liked by an official account of Pope Francis. The Vatican is seeking explanations from Instagram after Pope Francis's official account liked a photo of a scantily dressed Brazilian model. It is unclear when the photo was given an endorsement by the Pope's verified account, but the like was still visible on November 13th before being unliked the next day. And this is according to Catholic News Agency. Koiko, Garabato's management company, made the most of the publicity and reposted the image on its own Instagram account last Friday, saying the company had, quote, received the Pope's official blessing. Now, we can say, well, what a douchebag, right? What a clown. She's obviously dealing with some messed up junk, right? I mean, you're out there doing these kind of sexy poses and stuff and wearing scandalous clothes. Your heart's probably not doing a very good job with the Lord. You're not really taking a knee for Jesus Christ. And so that's just the way that works. So we can be critical and say, man, I can't believe she would share that. That's embarrassing. But I think anybody would. If the Pope's official account liked one of your Instagram posts, it would be hard not to share it. Even if it was one you're like, I don't know if I'm really proud of that one. Why would you like that? I don't know. You know, drinking a bunch of beer, pounding it down. Is this a mistake? Did he get hacked? Either which way, you'd probably share it. You'd probably share it. She obviously has not been catechized very well. She says, at least I'm going to heaven. She doesn't understand how that works at all. At all. That's not how it works. You've been watching too much of the movie Dogma. You've been watching too much Hollywood crap. He's got 7.4 million followers. Holy moly. It operates under the username Franciscus. Dude, okay, so is it his? Is it different than Pontifex? So over on Twitter, the Pope is followed by 18.8 million accounts. In 2017, he was the most popular world leader on the social media platform. Right here. But he rarely composes social media content himself. He's, to be honest, he's kind of doing a lot of that on the plane. Because all of the stuff on the plane, so much of that is just tweet-worthy stuff. I don't think he should be doing so much of that. Okay. Joe Biden makes no sense. Struggles to speak as he delivers remarks after meeting with governors. Oh, boy. This is one of those stories that's kind of like, to throw away a little bit because this is normal. This is normal. Oh, Joe Biden was having a hard time putting together a sentence. I'm really surprised. But, we like to look at it. We like to watch it. We like to see and be like, oh, yeah, so this is where he stands. Okay, we gotta refresh this here. Let's make sure that we can see this video. We got to do it. We got to do the video. Oh, yeah, come on, man. Give me a break. Give me a break, man. All right. Okay, we're going to have to go to Twitter. Is this serious? Let's see.
That in some detail.
Okay, hold on. Let's zoom this in, man. This is real good. Everything's fine. This is Tom Elliott. Look at Tom. Tom, you should be listening to the show. You look like a guy who would enjoy the show. Well, we'll see, man.
Thirdly, we discussed the need to help states with Title 32 funding for the National Guard. That's a fancy way of saying governors need to be able to get funding when they need to bring their National Guard into play.
Okay. Yeah, that is, it's funny because he said that's a fancy way of saying, and look, as clearly as he stated the first part, that is in fact the fancy way of saying it because the way he said it there was nuts. What's wrong with you, bro? I don't want to make fun too badly. He's got Parkinson's. He's got some kind of crazy thing going on, dude. You got to go. Is Joe Biden is sick.com? Is that still up? If it is, you got to go right away. You got to go right away. Reporter to Biden, how do you justify not taking legal action against Trump for not starting transition? So here's what he says to that. Let's go see.
We talked a lot with the governors about what the immediate needs are. We're going to employ the defense.
Yeah, okay. We're going to impose the. We're going to enforce the. Excuse me. He's just pulling out words. We're going to impose. We're going to enforce. Man, that is a lot of Freudian slipping, dude. You are Freudian slipping and sliding away. You are doing it, man. Excuse me. Employ the defense, reconstruct the act to be able to go out there and dictate companies build and do following things. Wow, dude. Wow, bro. Freudian slip sliding away. That's what he's doing. He's slip sliding, guys. Slip sliding. Oh.
Reconstruct the act.
We got to see it again. Hold on.
Talked a lot about with the governors about what the immediate needs are. We're going to employ the defense Reconstruct the act to be able to go out there and dictate companies build and do following things.
And do following things. Again, even that's Freudian. We're going to dictate that they do following things. Oh, yes. You will dictate that. You must follow the imposition and enforcement of Biden. Or exterminate. Great reset. What a crazy loon bird, man. What a crazy stinking loon bird. Speaking of crazy loon birds. There's a flow to the show, man. I had a buddy who was like, you've turned into a now this kind of guy. Dude, there's a flow to it. There's a logic to it, man. It's true. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, is telling Americans that the best plan for the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday is no plan. No plan, guys. You want to know what the best thing you can do is? Nothing. Nothing. Quote, CDC is recommending against travel during the Thanksgiving period. He told that to CNBC. For Americans who decide to travel, CDC recommends doing so as safely as possible by following the same recommendations for everyday living. He talked about 30 to 40% of infections come from people without symptoms, and even said visiting family could result in losing a loved one. Again, guys, that's actually true on a lot of levels. If you've got the flu and you have a loved one with an underlying condition, or you've got pneumonia, and you're going over to somebody's house and that person has cancer and they're going through chemo, you're crazy. And that's been true for like a long time. That's not new. So this is not technically new. But the idea, if you took this logic and said that you may be asymptomatic and you could go to somebody's house, and if you go to their house, they could die, this is canceling Thanksgiving forever. And it's saying maybe we should have forever before. Because that's been true forever. That's been true of different viruses going around, different sicknesses that people may be asymptomatic. And we've talked about it before. How many people, there's a possibility that you, without even knowing it, have been involved in the death of another person because maybe you went to the grocery store or the gas station. You go to the gas station. You sneeze or cough. You don't feel bad, though. You know, you're not feeling bad. You sneeze. You don't wipe your hand out. You don't sneeze into your arm. You sneeze, and kind of back your hand. You reach down and you grab the nozzle there, the handle for the gas pump, and you're pumping the gas. And what you don't realize is you've just spread this virus all over the place. Right? All over the handle. And then you book it out. And the next person comes up and they grab the handle. And that person, sits there and they end up wiping their nose. Maybe rubbing their mouth, sides of their mouth. And now guess what, man? You've just transmitted this virus. And that person, by the way, may be elderly. That person might have cancer. That person might have diabetes. And that person may have died. That's just a fact of life. That has always been the case. We don't think about it. It would be debilitating. Because if we thought about it that way, as we're doing right now in this particular instance, it would paralyze society. And so you say, well, what would it be like if we didn't think about it? Say, I don't know, entire human history. Entire human history, the way that we do it, the way that we've lived, the kind of expectations that we have, our willingness to do adventurous things and to be free, knowing risk analysis. But the CDC has certain recommendations. And here we go, guys. So look, this is what the CDC wants you to do. I know you're taking notes. I know you're taking notes. So look, if you guys want to, if you want to go to your family's house, you got to make sure that this is what you're going to do. If having guests to your home, be sure that people follow these steps that everyone can take to make Thanksgiving safer. These steps include 1, have a small outdoor meal with family and friends who live in your community. Number 2, so no out of state areas, and eat outside. I love that meme going around, man, where the guy's eating and it's raining all around him. He's eating and saying, thanks, thanks CDC. Limit the number of guests. Have conversations with guests ahead of time to set expectations for celebrating together. What is it? It'd be like, look, wrap yourself in saran wrap. We're all going to wear bubbles, guys. We're all going to wear the inflatable tube things. Clean and disinfect frequently touched surfaces and items between use. If celebrating indoors, bring in fresh air by opening windows and doors, if possible. Hey, look, that's actually a good idea. In fact, that should be the primary idea. You can use a window fan in one of the open windows to blow air throughout the window, out of the window. This will push fresh air in through other open windows. Totally true. Totally true. Now it's gonna make it tough. It's gonna make some people, you might have to, wear your Eskimo Halloween costume. You may have to do it. You may have to do it because it might be a little bit chilly, especially if you're living in places like Michigan, like I am. Limit the number of people in food preparation areas. Have guests bring their own food and drink. So you're like, look, we can all get together, but you bring your own food, I bring my own food, you bring your own drink, I bring my own drink. This is the way that they want to do this in the future, by the way. If sharing food, have one person serve food and use single-use options like plastic utensils. Why? Oh, so they can just throw it away. So look, guys, you've gotten it written down. In fact, go ahead and take a screenshot. I'll scooch it over. Take a screenshot and share with your friends. These are the new rules, man. These are the new rules. Maybe even from here on out, we're going to add a bunch more, though. We're going to add a bunch more. Okay, what's this? All right, yeah, Titanic. All right, so, okay, we're going to talk about a little bit of news here. And I've already talked a little bit about it, so I don't know how much deeper I want to go. But you're seeing this. You're seeing that you're watching the demise. And this is a real situation. This is actually a problem. Because most of the time, in history, it didn't matter if the Republican got in or if the Democrat got in. They followed a similar kind of script. Right? They followed a similar game plan. There's a blueprint that was shared. So it didn't matter if it was a Republican, didn't matter if it was a Democrat, because they all played ball. They were all part of the pageantry going on at the big theater. Well, not anymore. And people have actually had it. And what's interesting is they're resorting to the Wild West of the internet and resorting to competing forms, competing programs like this one here. How many of you guys, what shows did you stop watching to watch this? Or what other shows do you watch and watch this? Let me know. And in fact, let me know, because I'd like to promote other shows too. I'd like to get to know other people, have other hosts on, collaborate with people. So if there's other shows that you guys watch or websites that you guys frequent, dump those things into the comments, man. Send them to me. But we're seeing the demise. And here's one great example of the demise. MSNBC's Trump derangement syndrome afflicted Morning Joe. So the Morning Joe show, right? MSNBC's Trump deranged syndrome afflicted Morning Joe beats out Fox and Friends in average TV ratings for the first time ever. Think about it. Think about that for a moment. It's bad. It's bad. And they were happy about it. They were happy about it. They were the #1 cable news morning show for the first time since 2001. Yeah, Fox News, they've been falling off the cliff since Election Day. You can read more about that. It's Evan James over at bigleaguepolitics.com. Here's another reason why. Fox News dumpster fire, Dana Perino, urges Dominion voting to sue Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell. That, by the way, she's another low IQ person. I try to stick, some people might be like, look, you stick with certain topics on your show. There are certain themes. And that's because I don't like to do the fake it till you make it crap. That's what this does. That's what mainstream media, these people are all fake it till you make it people. Almost all of them. Because most of them, as I said earlier, they wouldn't know how to talk about political economy. They wouldn't know how to talk about theory. They probably know jack crap. They probably have never read Medium is the Message. They probably never read anything about media ecology. But it's their job, so they think because it's their job and they do it, they know about it. They're good at reading script. They're good at asking the question. The question that, by the way, they sit around a table with a bunch of people that prime them, and they're in their ear. So it's not only that they prepare beforehand, and it's not even like most of them even come up with the questions they're going to have. They're slated in such a way that the gatekeeper says, these are the themes that we want to focus on as a brand and even for this news cycle, right? These are the things that we want to focus on because they have a limited time. So they're not going to be able to talk about everything. Have you ever wondered why they don't talk about so many of the stories that you want to talk about? And why they talk about themselves as news setters? They're the ones that are setting the news for the day. They are the ones advancing the narratives. That's what they're doing. They're narrative creators because they're limited in time. Even with 24/7 news, you're still limited with the idea that in fact, in some ways, even more, because 24/7 news, you're going to have to cycle every day something boom, 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 new. And so you're limited. You got to play the same game as newspapers and everything else. And so they're limited on what they can do. They have a certain agenda, not only from their own ideological persuasion, but also, as I mentioned earlier, in reference to the movie Corporation, having to do with their sponsors. They're beholden to them. They don't want to lose them. That scares the daylights at them. The left knows what they're doing when they go after sponsors because they don't like certain guests and they don't like certain hosts. But people like her, she's good at reading script and hearing stuff in her ear. It's what she's good at. Not very impressive. And you can tell not very impressive because she's got Carl stinking Rove on there. That guy's the worst, man. They have some of the worst people. We were told for years that Karl Rove was a great numbers guy. Maybe not. No, he's not. No, he's not. Or he hasn't been for quite a while. On Thursday, the Trump campaign held a press conference where the campaign accused Dominion voting systems and the Democratic Party of mass fraud. This is exactly what Gateway Pundit, because this article's from Gateway Pundit, had been reporting for 2 weeks now. In this video, if you didn't see this video on yesterday's show, you have to see it. You must. I narrate it because it's just the sound of typing. Okay? And it's kind of like the Doogie Howser intro. Clickety 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 click. Right? And so I narrate the words for that. And I hope Gateway Pundit's okay with that because we use the entire video. The entire one. But this is how they stole it. And it's publicly available, by the way. And these aren't even, this is what I was mentioning earlier. I actually mentioned it to one of the trolls in the comment section. That this right here is evidence. And not just evidence, this is hardcore. Because what it shows, the drop and roll, where they do ballot drops, and then they roll to spread it out and to divide it up in such a way, they roll it out, the votes, in such a way that it assures that Biden is going to win. And the idea was to keep it at a low margin. But the thing is, you can go in and look at the margins later and compare them from county to county, from district to district. And what you find is one after another, after another, after another, after another, down the line, almost entirely, same exact ratio. Think about that. What are the odds? Think of the district around you. Think of the district around you. You know, a neighboring district or a city that's maybe 15 minutes from your home. Kind of a neighboring city, right? Sister city or something like that. So you think about them and you think of the differences. Like I'm in Grand Rapids and you've got Byron Center. It's a ways away. You got Dorr beyond that, Wayland beyond that, Kentwood over in another area, East Grand Rapids. These are all different. And if you said, okay, we're gonna tally all the votes and we're gonna see what the outcome is. And for some weird reason, our guy is winning. And we're like, man, he's doing great. And they say all at the same time, we're gonna shut it down, guys. We're gonna shut it down. You're like, what? I've never seen that before. So then they all shut it down. And it's kind of a weird thing. What's up with that? It seems like it's almost tied to when Fox, what did they call Arizona? And so it seems kind of weird, man. Seems kind of weird, like it's a trigger almost. All of a sudden, boom, everything shuts down. We'll be back tomorrow morning. We're not going to count anymore. We're done for the night. But lo and behold, that wasn't true. lo and behold, they kept getting a whole bunch of ballots, a whole bunch of these ballot dumps. In some places, 53 batches. Okay, so you get all these ballot dumps. And in all these different places. And then they start calculating them up. And when they start calculating them up, guess what ends up happening? After it's over, not only did Biden just suddenly, miraculously, blam, shoot up, but in each and every one of these places, when you go back and you look and you say, well, man, how big was it? In each and every one of these, it would be like your city, the city 15 minutes away, another district over here, another district over there. It all comes out to the exact same ratio. Let's say 50.5 to 49%, 50.5 to 49%, 50.5 to 49%. No way, Jose. No way. But she was like, oh yeah, you got to dump them. You got to get rid of them. Yeah, and so you have Barry Cunningham. Alexa, please show me media fear. Yes, man. Wow, has any business ushered in their doom any quicker? Totally true. But Attorney Lynn Wood responded. And he said, Dominion's not going to sue anybody. He said, I know, because she said she doesn't know about defamation law. Again, she's a fake it till she makes it person. She's just, if somebody says, I don't know defamation law, but man, they should sue them for defamation. Click, turn it off. Turn it off. Does she even know the difference between slander and libel? But she doesn't know, but she's going to pontificate. In a very contested moment. In something that's wildly controversial. Something that evidence is popping out now like crazy out of a fire hose. Blam! And what is she going to say? They should sue him for defamation. I don't know anything about it, but you should sue him. What a dummy, dude. What a bimbo. Turn it off. Guys, I know it's mainly guys watching her anyway. Guys, cover your eyes. She's not as, just because she's hot doesn't mean she's right. It's like that joke article that said that men are more likely to believe in astrology if a girl they like happens to believe in it. It's true, man. They're like, oh yeah, man, my sign is this, dude. But Lynn Wood said, I know defamation law. Defamation law is a friend of mine. Dominion is not going to sue anybody because truth is an absolute defense. Plus, discovery in the case will open the cookie box to even more evidence that Dominion interfered in our election. Dana Perino is foolish. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm going to skip over this other than to say this. This is one of those things that, oh, come on, man. Oh, the website can't be reached. Are you serious? Okay. So it said it couldn't be reached, and now all of a sudden it can. That's really weird. So Matthew Legasius, he left Fox News. And there's other people who've left places. Glenn Greenwald left The Intercept. Andrew Sullivan, he joins Substack after parting ways with New York Magazine. And there are similar reasons for this. Okay? And the reason why, and this is important, because these people feel like there's a dominant sensibility, right? You need to be able to challenge the dominant sensibility in the young college graduate bubble that now sets the tone at many digital media organizations. You need to know this. You need to understand that these places are a mix of two things. They're a mix of the older generation that is the establishment folks who know how to harness and play chameleon for anything because they want money and power. But you also have to understand the bubble, right? That is dominating. Oh, hi. Yes, come over here. My daughter. You have to know the media bubble and who's dominating that, who's setting the tone for that. You have to understand it. So, okay, check this out. Hold on, let me go back real quick so I can show you guys. Let me see. Maine? Let's do my movie. Let's get out of there. Here we go. Okay. You got to get in the frame so they can see you. Yeah, Teresa, they had half day today. So Teresa came back. That's good. You can work on the stuff for the show upstairs. She's a hardworking member of the crew. She's a powerful member of our staff, And as you can see, look at that cute little outfit she's got. Scooch in even closer. I don't know if you can. Kind of bend in there. Yeah, let's see this part. Yeah, that's what the girls wear. They can wear, you got, yeah, dresses and skirt, or dresses and dress pants. Yeah, skirt. Yeah, skirt. And they're and yeah, she doesn't wear the pants. Yeah, so she's got the skirt. They're super duper cute, right? Very modest, very pretty, and I love you, baby. I love you. Get out of here. Get out of here. I love you. I love you. I'm glad you guys do it. Oh no. I did that last time.
Yeah.
Oh no. I did that last time. So okay, but you have to understand the media bubble, guys. You got to understand how this works and who's setting the tone. Who is setting the stage? What views are being emphasized? And not just that, but you have to ask, what are the stories that they're not talking about? It's easy to criticize the stuff that they say. But sometimes it's even more important. In fact, I would contend it's more important in general to know what they're not saying. Because it says a lot about who they are. It says a lot about the rationale that they have for talking about what they are in fact talking about. And it makes sense out of this. Because there are people who will say, oh no, the media is not biased. And most of the people who say that, they don't even understand how their biases that they've got are being reflected and regurgitated by the media that they happen to watch. You can see that in studies. I've mentioned it before. Jon Stewart, back when he was with The Daily Show, back when The Daily Show was even good, you had, before the new host, I'm just saying, you guys really terrible. Trevor Noah, dude, not even funny. So the thing is that he gets on there and they did these studies where they showed what people watch, what they listen to, people on the left, people, is there anything in the center? Is there, and what's on the right? And you had silos. So you had them lined up and it was almost exclusive on each side. It was almost exclusive. Now that's kind of normal. I don't want to treat it like it's not. It's actually an abnormal thing in a way for people to listen to information outside of their bubble. In human history, we're pretty tribal people. We typically gravitate toward people we're friends with. If you've ever, I remember, you can see this how it plays out with religion, for example. You can see how it plays out with people with different interests and values. Politics, doesn't matter. But she points this out. We'll go ahead and we'll play it.
My name is Jenna Ellis, and I'm the senior legal advisor to the Trump campaign, and I'd like to just explain now where we've been and where we're at and what you can expect from this process.
Hold on.
This is what you can expect to see when we get to court to actually have a full trial on the merits.
See, this is good, by the way, to say, we're showing you here, we're showing you the basic agenda, the basic idea of what we're doing and how we're moving forward. Okay? This is the game plan, but we're not going to lay it all on the table. That would be dumb to do. That would be ridiculously stupid. And so she's really smart doing this. And also to cast doubt on the integrity of the people reporting on her. Especially because it makes it malicious when they say that they are neutral. Because they're not. It'd be one thing to be like, well, they're just incorrect. No. This makes them malicious. And it means that they're not even trustworthy. I trust an organization that you know where they're coming from. You know where they are. Now, we know where the mainstream's coming from, but the difference is some people wear it on their sleeves. Some people deny it even exists. The people who deny that it exists, they say, it's not real. We're perfectly even. We're even Stevens on all of this. Those people who say that, they're either untrustworthy because they're intentionally lying, or they're untrustworthy because they are so aloof. They lack any degree of self-awareness. And I'd say either which way, man, pick your poison, choke on it.
To actually show this evidence, those of you who are here in this room or have maybe tuned out in other networks, clearly you've never been court reporters. Trials take time. Putting on evidence takes time. This is basically an opening statement so the American people can understand what the networks have been hiding and what they refuse to cover, because all of your fake news headlines are dancing around the merits of this case and are trying to delegitimize.
You hear that? You hear that? It's amazing. She's like, what you're not covering. You're dancing around it because, and that shows what's really going on. I just said it, man. She said it in a much more authoritative and prettier way than I did. Not gonna lie, she's doing pretty good. Doing pretty good for herself.
What we are doing here. Let me be very clear that our objective is to make sure to preserve and protect election integrity. President Trump has been saying from day one that this is about maintaining free and fair elections.
Yeah, so that's the narrative that they're advancing, because they're advancing one too.
Should want that. If every American is not on board to cover it fairly, and your fake news network is not covering this or allowing you to cover it fairly and accurately, you should ask yourself why. This is absolutely a legitimate legal basis. We have been asked to provide an entire case that generally would take years in civil litigation. I've been a prosecutor. I have tried cases with far simpler facts. One thing happened in a matter of minutes, and it still takes days.
Yeah.
And we go through a jury process. This is the court of public opinion right now.
Yes. And that's why people need to slow down a little bit too. They need to realize we got to stroll, guys. We got to stroll. We got to chill. We got to realize this is not something overnight. We have this tendency, and we've done it to ourselves, man. We've done it to ourselves because we've allowed TV to win. And by TV, I'm not just talking the media networks, although that's part of it. The television networks with news, but also the idea of anything visual, the visual medium. You can see this. You're watching me right now. A lot of you guys may not even listen anymore to talk radio. It's kind of a dying brand. More talk radio now is done talking into microphones on a screen. That's what a lot of talk radio is. It's the evolution of radio, but it was absorbed into television. And because it is, television has a certain tempo. We've seen the tempo get faster and faster over time. And this comes out in a lot of conversations about social media and dopamine, right? These endorphins and stuff. They make you feel good. They make you feel great. And that it has to be quick. Flashing lights, certain colors, right? Certain vibrancy to the colors and to the light to the screen. That makes the jollies go off in the brain. And when you watch TV and you're committed to that medium as a primary means of communication, you're beholden and dramatically influenced, especially over time. And even in the moment, you are influenced with the release of the chemicals in the brain. But you are beholden to this structure that is realized that as it's doing this and you're getting that release, that even without you knowing it, you're developing a desire and in fact a need for more of that release. And so we saw the amount of time spent in front of the tube or in front of the computer or in front of the TV, the phone, the gaming console grow and grow and grow and grow to the point now that Netflix in a private study said that their biggest competitor was sleep and that they were winning. It's grown and it's grown and it's grown. And the thing is, that medium, when you need it more, and they know it, they actually have people who are psychologists who understand the brain and the eyes and how these things interact and why you use certain colors. Why do you use certain videos, for example, instead of just words on a screen? Why is it better to have a video of a fire in a house than it is to have a picture of a fire in a house? They understand the psychology of this in a really deep way, in a freaky deep way, by the way. Okay? And the idea is that it's faster and faster and faster. I watch Doctor Who. I like Doctor Who. Back in the day, Doctor Who was, my kids, they'll watch it, and they used to think for a while, man, that's kind of boring. And the reason why, because they couldn't really explain why. They were not just, they liked they didn't care about the effects. They were like, it's goofy, yeah, it's fake and stuff. That didn't bother them. But there was something about it that was slow. And you say, well, what is it that's slow? And what was slow about it was that you would have a single camera, kind of like this one here, right? You're looking at me for an extended period of time. I'm not moving around. This is a stable shot. What TV does now, and I'll just actually drag this over just so that we have it. Let me see if I can find it here. Here we go. I'll show you what to do. So now, they've got this. Do you see how quickly that changes? It's about a second and a half. 1001, 1000, 1001, 1002, 1001, 1002. You can see, I even made it that way. Now, that was also to make it short. But the idea is that the transition is happening boom, 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 boom. I think SpongeBob and shows like that, man, they've gotten it down to a second or less. So it's super fast. So if we don't have that, it's slow. We get this feeling. We don't even understand why. It's just, it's a primal reaction to the visual sensations that we're getting and the way that it interacts in the brain. And they were using one camera on Doctor Who. For like long time shots, you might have 5 minutes. One camera, people walking around the room, and it doesn't switch to then show one person, and then switch to show another person, and then switch to show the whole room, and then switch to show the hand. It wasn't moving all over the place. Skip, skip, skip. And we need to understand that that has actually affected us. And the idea that so much of what we watch has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And so much of what we watch does that rapidly fast. In one show. It has resolution. We have the sense of, okay, it begins. Then we've got the problem. You got the whole hero's journey. You got the whole cycle in an hour time. It's the way that they frame it. That there's this resolution. There's now seasons and series, they'll leave some dissonance to remain. Some things that are unresolved. That's why you have, for example, sexual tension. Right? That's a long game. But the idea of so many shows having some form of resolution at the end. Take Psych. I love that show. It's a perfect example. And you say at the end, almost all of them. Now, they have some that play out through multiple shows. But at the end, it's resolved. And we have that expectation that, number one, it's going to, if we're presented with a problem, we're going to be able to pretty much figure it out. And if we don't figure it out right away, you got to wait about 45 minutes. And so when you deal with something like this, which has, by the way, international implications, we're talking Spain, we're talking Germany, we're talking England. Serious implications. The same players, by the way, the same players who were involved in the entire Russiagate crap. So don't allow that to dissuade you or to dishearten you. Realize that reality is less like Law and Order and more like what she's talking about. And that it doesn't just wrap up by the end of the show. And that it's going to take a while. And in fact, in reality, this kind of a case, she's totally on the money. This kind of case would typically have taken a very long time. Let's see here. Okay, I wanted to play this. Yeah, Carpe Donktum, dude. I'd like to meet that guy, by the way. I need to meet you, Carpe. I need to meet you. Big fan of your stuff, dude. Big fan of yo stuff, son. How long is this one? Let's find out. How long is it? It's about a minute and 46 seconds. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and play it. I hope he doesn't care. I hope he doesn't care. Make sure you follow him, and you can find him right here, Carpe Donktum, at Carpe Donktum on Parler. Okay, make sure you go and you follow him. Let him know. Say, I loved your meme. I love that video that you made. You're extremely talented. He's being censored left and right. And so I want to promote his stuff. And I'm going to play the entire thing just so that you can enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it. It gives my voice a break. And it helps promote somebody who's been on the front lines for a long time. And he's using his gifts and talents. He's using his gifts and talents. And the enemy hates him. They hate his guts, man, because Donald Trump shares a lot of his stuff and has. And they don't like that. They don't like that, so they had to get rid of him. And so make sure that you support him. Let him know that he is loved, man, by the Wolfpack. Here we go.
Words are the new weapons. Satellites, the new artillery. Caesar had his legions. Napoleon had his armies. I have my divisions. TV, news, magazines. And by midnight tonight, I'll have reached and influenced more people than anyone in the history of this planet, save God himself. Mr. Wallace, call the president. Tell him if he doesn't sign the bill, we'll release the video of him with a cheerleader in the Chicago motel room.
Absolutely.
And after he signs the bill, release the tape anyway. Excuse me. I'm having fun with my headlines. Hold the presses. This just in. I want full newspaper coverage. I want magazine stories. I want books. I want films. I want TV. I want radio. I want us on the air 24 hours a day. This is our moment. And 1 billion people around this planet will watch it, hear it, and read about it. There's no news like bad news.
Agenda to control exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
By the way, did you hear that end? Did you hear that ending? I love this, man, by the way. Dude, big time props, man. Big time props to Carpe. That's amazing. And it's totally true. That right there is the war that faces us right now. We're on it, guys. We're a wolf pack, and we're howling every single day. We are giving everything we've got at multiple different levels at the same time. Multiple different levels. Taking back the culture. Taking back political economy. We're rising up, and we are a force to be reckoned with. It was easy before. It was easy before. They didn't have to pull out all the stops. We'd played into the facade. We were mesmerized by the mirage. Not anymore. We know better now. And we're guns akimbo, fully loaded. Blam, 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 blam. Because we ain't messing around anymore. We know what's on the line. The Great Reset is no joke, by the way. And you can see, did you see the end? Where all of those different people are reading from the exact same script. That's all over the place. There was a while where people were like, well, I trust local news more. What they don't understand is that local news, these aren't independent places anymore. They're still under the dominion of these major umbrella corporations that dictate what they do. Barely more than a handful. Barely more than a handful that dictate what they do. And if you look at the worldview of that handful of people, if you look at the backdrop as to what they believe, to what they wish to see, to where they go and who they hang out with, and you really begin to look at the narratives that they're advancing, number one, you start to notice that even the competition is controlled. Even the competition is controlled. Media announces Biden's plans to scrap Trump's pro-life policies. The media say the former vice president who claims to be Catholic, we've talked about that. He's a bad Catholic, by the way. Will first and foremost abide by the wishes of the abortion industry and reverse Trump's Title X family planning rule that underscored that abortion, i.e. ending the life of an unborn child, is not family planning. I knew a lot of people. In fact, I knew a surprising number of otherwise conservative Catholic people who were hardcore against Donald Trump. I sit there and say, dude, you know, they don't understand blood on your hands. They don't understand that. They don't understand the pragmatism of the democratic dynamic of a republic the size of ours. They don't understand it. And they sit there and it's like, you know, it's crazy because so many of these individuals, I think, are like accelerationists. The idea of doing things that will cause the demise under this crazy idea that somehow their view, their super minority position is going to rise like a phoenix. And everyone's going to be like, man, now that the republic is completely destroyed, we are going to go inside with this super small tribe over here of people who, by the way, were down with the deconstruction. They're maniacal, man. That's some maniacal crap. And half the time they do so on these phony moralist schemes. They're Pharisaical, man. They're Pharisaical people. And all the while you're like, okay, wow, that's really neat. I knew people who were like, he's not as pro-life as he claims to be. Okay, well, here's one thing, by the way. Here's one thing, by the way, and look, I disputed that. I talked about that on my Meaning of Catholic appearance. Talked about that. In February 2019, the Trump Department of Health and Human Services released a rule that would block about $60 million in family planning funding to Planned Parenthood and other abortion providers who refer girls and women for abortions. And they're going, he's expected to return to it. He's expected to return to it. Here's what else is coming. And we got to know, guys, not to be scared, but to be resolute. Meet Georgia Democrat, Reverend Raphael Warnock. Quote, America needs to repent for its worship of whiteness. We've talked, by the way, about whiteness. It's a real slippery term. The National Museum of African American History and Culture put out a bunch of slides that had to do. Now, in fairness, they didn't come up with it. It was a Jewish guy that came up with those slides. They threw that dude under the bus. But the thing is, they didn't deny that these things were categorically to them what they believed whiteness to be. That included stuff like, being prompt, being on time, having a schedule, linear thinking, quantitative reasoning, like balancing the scales, the empirical method. These were all having a family with a mom and a dad. The nuclear family, which we've seen that's part of the Black Lives Matter agenda, is opposition to the nuclear family, which cuts to the heart not only of the Republic, but to God's design for mankind. That's why it's unsurprising to find out that the leaders, the people who come up with and set the agenda and advance the narratives and coordinate with the powers that be in the Black Lives Movement community, that these organizers and these founders of that community, that they're involved in some witchcraft. Not surprising, man. You're like, oh, of course. Of course. He said, if it is true that a man who has dominated the news and poisoned the discussion for months needs to repent, then it's doubly true that a nation that can produce such a man and make his vitriol go viral needs to repent. That's a big if, by the way, in the front. It's a big, big if, by the way. But it's funny because he's treating that if not as like, well, if that's actually true. In a way that's like, let's talk about it, guys. Like all the videos. I hate these, by the way. I hate the videos that come up and they go, racism. Let's talk about it. The wage gap. Let's talk about it. Or it's time we talk about the patriarchy. Anytime they say that, you know that you're going to get lectured by some pontificating weirdo. Some person who just wants to shove crap down your throat. Do you hear me? Well, let's talk about it. It's what they're all about, man. It's what they're all about. Yeah, America needs to repent for its worship of whiteness. It's just such a crazy thing, man. It's such a crazy thing that he can look at what Trump has done. And there's something telling, by the way. There's something telling that you say, look at the narrative of the people like him. They talk about white men being the primary problem. White heterosexual Christian men. You've got that, right? They're the foil. So you've got them. They're the scoundrel. They're the bad guy. Throw them under the bus. And so you look and you say, okay, so Trump gained votes in every demographic, but he lost a percentage. He lost a number of people in one. Which one? Can you guess? Can you guess? White men. White men. And they just don't even understand it. And of course, he pulls out the evangelical Christians and Catholics. He calls them fascist, racist, sexist, xenophobe. I am a robot. Regurgitating the message. Exterminate the hillbillies. It's unbelievable, man. He's the same guy that says nobody can serve God in the military. So you can't be a Christian and go to the military? Dude, this guy. Yeah. See, he's making up his own religion. Or he's part of this pacifistic cult, which is really bizarre, by the way. And he could not live and operate by those principles and remain even remotely respectable. I have a book. It's called, I think, Choosing Against War. It's written by a Mennonite. And he's, if I remember correctly, and he's a pacifist. And he's making the case that under no circumstance should you use any kind of force at all. Not even defensive. Not even in defense of anybody else. He doesn't understand that his arguments about pacifism are, in fact, an intervention into a debate over the issue of force. He's intervening in it, hoping to persuade. Well, he would say, I'm hoping to persuade. I'm not bludgeoning people. I get it. But in the book, he brought up the idea that even if his wife was being raped in front of him. Wow, dude. Wow. I feel badly for your wife. I feel badly for your kids. Because you are actually dangerous. And what's amazing is sometimes that kind of inaction is really dangerous. And you say, dude, you're standing there and some dude is totally molesting your wife and kids. And you're going to stand and do what? Try to convince him? Hey, man, come on, buddy. Come on. You don't want to do that. No, he really does want to rape your wife, dude. He really does. That's why he broke into the house with a gun. That's why he gagged her and he's raping her. Come on, man. Isn't there something better you could be doing right now? Wouldn't you rather be playing PlayStation? The guy's a pathetic guy. Same thing with this, man. He doesn't understand. Be the nation without a military. Be that. Be America. They don't even understand how that works. Total goons. Speaking of total goons, these two, anytime you see these guys in their face on the same screen, you know that you are in for a quadruple decker poop sandwich. You're going to have that crap shoved down your throat. CNN's lemon. Trump supporters will end up embarrassed. Grandkids will see you. We're on the wrong side of history. Like, dude, you know. This guy doesn't believe in God. He doesn't believe in the triune God that we worship, that's for sure. Because he doesn't understand that, he's probably into the fear porn crap we were talking about earlier, with meteorites and what's going to happen if something collides into the planet and everything else. What's going to happen when we all die from global warming within the next 8 years. That's the kind of crap he's into. But he doesn't understand that our God is the God of history. And you can look and see a trajectory. You can see a line. And it's amazing, in fact. It's amazing because you can see all sorts of bumps, man. Every single time that we go through something super wicked. Even times like we are now where you're at a crossroad. And we are at a crossroad right now. And that crossroad is either going to be repentance or it is going to be a bloody revolution. That's what it's going to be because our civilizations are so separated. Our ideas and worldviews in this country are so separated and so at enmity with each other. We have no thread, no civil kind of thread running through those that make it so that we can have any form of cohesion. Only disdain. And not just at a big level, a theoretical level, but even a practical one. Cancel culture is a great example of this. We no longer have the prevailing ideas that we gained from the Bible and from Christianity about not kicking a guy while he's down or going to the person who's offended you and confronting them in private. And if there's an issue, bring 2 or 3 witnesses. People skip right over that now and they're like, I'm going to bring all 10,000 of mine. And they definitely don't bring anything to the church anymore. It's a satanic paradigm. And it will not coexist. John Kerry talks Great Reset. We're at the dawn of an extremely exciting time. And you know what? Before we do that, I'm going to go to the comments real quick. Because we haven't looked at the comments. I apologize, by the way, about that. In the comment section, talking about the earlier story of the babysitter who fed the kids some chicken nuggets. James says the babysitter is a saint. Should have given him the dino nuggets, though. What are the dino nuggets, man? What are those things? KMO asks, do you think that people who are vegans or vegetarians have for moral reasons are misguided? Yeah, I do. I think they're misguided because for multiple different reasons. I think a lot of times it ends up it depends. Okay, let me be really clear about this. It kind of depends. Take, for example, is it Lizzie's Answers? I've mentioned her before. Okay, the powers that be here at Holy Faith wanted me to do a video responding to her position on veganism because she promotes veganism and says that that's kind of, what the popes and everybody have promoted. She's only half correct. Okay, and there's a spectrum of options that people could entertain and ideas and policies that people could entertain in order to resolve the problems pointed out by various Christians throughout time, including the popes in encyclicals. And those would have to do with, for example, corporate farming. And the kind of way, there's a lot of problems, in fact, with that. There's a lot of international companies, Chinese companies, that own American farmland. You might be driving by a company, or you drive, yeah, you technically are. But if you drive by a farm and you're driving by it, and you're seeing all the corn, right? Or you're seeing whatever soy or whatever you got growing, man. When you drive by that, you may not even know that that's not even owned by the farmer living on the land. I know I spoke to many of them, and it was a real problem. And it used to be something that only the Green Party was one of the main people talking about it years and years ago. Right? They were bringing this up. It's become more. It's become something that people on the right, who are involved in populist and nationalistic movements, have started to recognize and say this is a real problem, because a lot of them are influenced by agrarianism. Agrarianism meaning a small farm model, small independently owned, locally based small farms with a proper treatment of animals. But that proper treatment of animals may include the proper treatment so that eventually you will eat them. Because we are humans, and because God, look, part of the scripture, the idea that we eat meat, it's all throughout. There's no condemnation. There's no place, Jesus isn't going around saying, and stop eating lamb. Don't eat lamb anymore. Don't eat any of these animals anymore. You can't do that. It's reserved strictly for the sacrificial system. So I think they have moral reasons that aren't entirely accurate, and theological ones too. Kamo says you go full vegetarian during Lent. That makes sense. And yeah, you're right. It's good penance. Jason says, I eat animals that are vegan. Does that count? Dude, we eat a lot of animals that are vegan, don't we, bud? Yeah, man. That definitely counts. So you're like, Megan. You're a Megan, is what you are. RC, it should be illegal for a child to be a vegan. That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. How would you enforce that? It'd be a tough one. It'd be a tough one. Parents still have discretion. But look, it's pretty bad. And you see a lot of people, man, a lot of these vegan kids, they are not very, they're not looking too hot. They're kind of struggling a little bit. Kind of struggling. Leftist unhingedism is the new du jour religion. That is Camindo 7. Oh, it totally is. It's the wokeness cult. I kind of like that. Leftist unhingedism. Yeah, totally true. But it's a wokeness cult, man. It's a cult idea. It's a worldview. They're super mystical about it. It's based so much on faith, right? The things that they cannot prove, they cannot demonstrate with any kind of replication at all. Can't do it, man. Charity Fioc says, inspiring commercial. You're talking about the ad for the school that my children go to. Absolutely 100%. When am I going to address the header of the great? What is the header? I don't write it, Rachel. I don't write it. It's a 3-hour-long show. Maybe I'm saving it for the end. I'm studying the ASVAB. By the way, what is the title for the show? Yeah, I'm studying for the ASVAB, and you're right, never-ending study. Totally true. Yep. No, Tucker has not turned on Trump. The Kraken has been released, and Tucker, first one with kahunas, to let MSM know that they are done in a roundabout way. I didn't say, look, I don't believe that he's turned on Donald Trump. I'm saying that he was unnecessarily critical of a key figure in the Trump legal team. And that, in fact, that he was kind of exposed a little bit. I think it got under his skin a little. He wanted a certain thing. He wanted them to do what other media want them to do, and what the woman at the press conference said you just don't do. And the woman at the press conference was right, saying you're not going to give the evidence that you're going to present in court. You're not going to throw it all out there, in part because you don't want to give the enemy time to run and hide, or to even know that that's what you know about them. And he wanted that. Annette says, your mother is a water people. Oh, no. I said, yeah, the people who are drinking all the water, and raising the glass high. My mom. My mom is a water person. Bethany says, whoa, bud, I've water. Oh, no. Dude, some of my favorite ladies, man, are water people. I don't know, guys. I don't know, ladies. I'll make excuses for you. You know, I'll give you an indulgence, right? I'll give you an indulgence on that one. Kashan says, great podcast. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Afro says, please, God, if you choose Trump, please give him another 4 more years. God is in control. No matter what. God's not up in heaven biting his nails going, I really hope that Trump's legal team figures it out. That's just not real, man. Jorge, hi, Jeremiah. Good to see you again. Good to see you, Jorge. Really, really happy about that. RC, veganism is a communist thing. Don't worry, they will find out there is no food as began. Okay. Let's see. Jorge, God bless you and your family. God is with us. Totally true. Matt Brown, it was good to see you, Matt, yesterday. He was in the live stream last night. If you didn't see yesterday's show, because we had some issues, it originally went only on Facebook because we couldn't access any of the other places. We shared it later at night as a live stream. And here's the thing, guys. If that happens, sometimes I will be in the feed because I can't answer comments in real time. So I would be in the feed, and I was talking the entire time with people. It was a really, really, really good time. Let's see here. Nanshi said, truth always prevails. Expose the bad guys. Yes, it's true. In the end, truth will. In the end, truth will. Darkness cannot prevail over the light. It's just true. It could not contain it. CF Hulling, the sad thing is there's a comfort that at least it's a woman. It's true, man. There's a comfort in that. You know, in the idea that at least it's a woman, right? And it's something that it's looking at things the wrong way. It's looking at things the wrong way. She's taking a knee for other reason. TikToking it up, yes. Okay. Hugo sucks. Biden for president. Yeah, Hugo does suck. Biden for president. Yay. Biden. Yeah. Hugo, I don't know where you stand on that. If you're trolling me, dude, I'll have fun. I do cat and mouse with trolls. I own the cat. I own the trolls. There ain't no thing. Let's see. Honestly, yeah, I got a little, what do I say, stooter? Myself? I don't even know what that means, Kashan. Too much rugby and fighting growing up. Okay, yes. Was that stupider? A little stupider? Is that what it was? Too much rugby, dude. I wish I played rugby. I never played, man. I was always told that I was kind of built for it. Yes, his policies are what we should be questioning. Totally 100%. And it's not just his policies, but who the people are that are really controlling him. I don't think that I think he's actually in a not good place. If he was president, people would be really worried about him. And people would be like, dude, this isn't sounding good. Like, something's off. And they wouldn't just make an excuse that he's old. They'd say, there's something really going on about that. Waffen SS Soldier, how many people do you have under your floorboards at your Thanksgiving gathering? Yeah, how many? They're going to come in. They're going to come in with the with cameras. How many people? We heard a lot of noise in here. And the answer is going to be, oh, I'm the governor of California. I'm good, dude. I'm good, yes. Barbara says, think of risk analysis of entire globe. World lived without antibiotics. Not many people realize that there was a time penicillin was invented and people still gathered. They're still gathering when we've known for years that antibiotic resistance, right, is happening. In fact, that's actually a really scary thing. And it's one of those things that when there's these kind of calculators that you can punch your age in and different things about you, and it will project different ways and probabilities of things and ways that you'll die, and resistance to that is high up on the list now, along with cancer and diabetes. Let's see here. No Way says, don't live is what they're saying. Why anyone listens to these punks is beyond me. Totally true. Totally true. Horace says, do you wear your beard year round or shave it in the summer? I keep mine size 1 to 2 all year. Yeah, I'm divided, man. I go through seasons where I'm like, if I've lost some weight and I got my jaw kind of chiseled up, I'll go ahead and I'll shave it. But I've been told, man, that they're like, look, you look like a little baby when you do that. Yes. Kashan says, I always promote your show. I know you do, buddy. I know you do. Let's see, on shows that we should talk about and connect with, Bradley Dean and Tim Brown, Sons of Liberty are my other favorites. Yes. Check out yesterday's episode of Crowder starting at 20 minutes. I actually have it shared on my Telegram. I plan on it. There's only one way out. You know this. No way. Look, it's true. Well, there's two ways. And this has always been true. There's always two ways out of this. One way is a great awakening. There have been ones in history, so it's not as if that's impossible. But under certain circumstances, I would say that that is improbable. God's a God of miracles, though. God's a God of miracles. Let's see. Wearing a mask for normal occasions is like closing only one of the doors on a sinking submarine. Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, yeah. You're good, man. That's a good one, Justin. I love you, bro. I love you. And yes, the entire team is home now. That's good. Let's see here. Yeah. Stage Lover 91 says, wow, she looks like you talking about my daughter. I love her. Yeah, she's my brown-eyed girl. I absolutely love my little T-Bear. Big time. Let's see. Who's talking about classic Doctor Who, not present Doctor Who? Oh, talking about me, yes. James says, MTV-style editing. Michael Bay does it a lot in his movies. It's like doing cocaine and being asked to sit down calmly. And that's the thing. We do it all the time. We're doing it all the time, man. Speaking of, somebody brought up the show Psych, said they loved it. Have you seen Psych the musical? Yes, I have. Have you seen the new Psych one? And do you know why they made it? It's actually a really moving story. The detective, Lassie, had a stroke. And you can tell, and I didn't know he had a stroke before I watched it. I was blown away. In the comments, those reporters literally are NPCs. They are big time. And they flipped out. You see it yesterday when Pence walked out? You see that? Going crazy, man. Going crazy. The world is currently changing. We have to encourage, love, pray. Yes, totally. Jorge says political correctness is a disease. It's spreading like a virus. And it's because that's how worldviews are. All the worldviews are imperial. They all want to spread. They all have a certain kind of virality. And they're all based on symbols. And they're based on archetypes. They're based on certain drives that are fundamental to the moral foundations of the people who embrace them. Kind of thing. Nathaniel says, junior year in high school, I read a book about a factory farming and then decided I wanted to be a vegan. I maybe lasted a month. I ended up being on ice cream before I caved all the way on meat. You're on ice cream? Were you only eating ice cream, dude? What kind of diet is that, man? What kind of ice cream, by the way? What were you doing? What is it? Bull Irish? I believe that God loves all his creatures, especially the most innocent like babies and animals. How can a loving God not turn away from seeing the most innocent being slaughtered? Because that God actually demanded that they be slaughtered. I don't know what to tell you. Like, he demanded it was part of the sacrifice system. Unless you believe that God did not require that and that it was just made up by Moses, which would be kind of weird that Jesus would fulfill that. In fact, he required, it's funny that the most innocent life, he required the death of an innocent son. It was required for sin. Now that was satisfied by the voluntary decision for Christ to submit to the will of God. But he didn't sit there and say, why do you want blood, God? Why do you want blood? We don't serve the cotton candy Jesus, man. We don't serve the lemon drop lollipop God in the sky. We don't do that. You know, God is a God of love. He's a God of righteousness. He's a God of grace. He's a God of truth. He's a God of wrath. He's a God of judgment. That's just the way that is. And there are certain things, look, God loves all of his creatures. Why does he make us poop? Why do farts smell bad? I mean, there's a lot of things that happen in life. Why do people die? It sucks that people die, man. Why would God even do that? Ain't that a bummer? Why do kids get childhood brain cancer? Why? Why do nations go to war? But the idea that God is like mad because people are eating animals, that's part of the Passover meal, by the way. That was part of, and it's part of the Eucharist theology as the fulfillment of that. What's going on with the Pope? That was the idea that there was a like on Instagram that had to do with liking a picture of a Brazilian hottie. I didn't show the picture. And Bull Irish said, are you equating biblical slaughter with steak eating? No, I'm saying that not only was there no prohibition in the Bible ever, 0, against eating steak, but it went so far as to describe the proper way to eat steak for the Jews. And you say, okay, well, that's no longer applicable because Christ fulfilled that. You would say, yes, it's no longer applicable, for example, about the blood. It would be no longer applicable about refraining from eating certain animals. So you say, okay, that's how it developed, but that's kind of weird that it expanded on the animals that were able to be eaten, which is why Peter was so, when he was in his trance, why Peter was so blown away that he was being told to eat animals that were, he didn't say, God, why are you saying I'm supposed to eat animals? That's wrong, God. I mean, wouldn't he have thought that it was the devil? Wouldn't he have thought it was the devil? And that's New Testament era, by the way. That's New Testament era. So the idea that in New Testament times that you don't have animal eating, if that was the case, then it would appear that Peter wasn't in a holy state, that he was being maybe wooed by demonic forces who were telling him to slay and to eat. And not just to eat, but to eat animals that were outside the former structure. That's just the way that goes, man. It's not hard. It's not hard. So no, I'm not equating it. I actually have a deep theology about this. I know I talk about funny things and I talk about theology and everything else. I mean, I talk about politics, I talk about economics, I talk about culture, I talk about animal uprisings. I know we talk about goofy things about parenting or emotional stories about family, and I do all that, but I have studied theology for years. I went to Bible college, went to seminary for a while. And I've been studying, most of the books back behind me are tomes, some of the classics and greats on theology. I've studied that, I've studied apologetics. Let's see, Sweet Harmony. The picture is ugly. I know. You're talking the Brazilian one. Yeah, exactly. Nathaniel says it was probably vanilla bean ice cream or cherry Bordeaux with cherry chunks and dark chocolate. I was mostly being a sort of vegetarian rather than a vegan toward the end. That's how it normally goes because people typically can't live that way. People typically can't live that way in normal society. I mean, if you're part of an ascetic community, for example, that would make a little bit more sense depending on the discipline. But even then, it's not universal. Veggie burgers will never hold a candle to real burgers. Totally true. Well, by the way, what's the name of the store? What's the name of the show? I'll do one last topic. What's the name of the show? I don't set the title. It's kind of like newspapers and stuff. A journalist will write something, but typically they're not the ones that are going to write the headlines for that article. Of course, that's true with internet news as well. So they write the substance, and you have different editors that will work on different parts to do with the presentation with that. So how is this framed, by the way? Like, what exactly is the name of this? Because I want to make sure. I'm going to go ahead and just look it up right now. Let's go look it up. Let's go look this up, man. Oh, no, not Paleocrat Diaries. And we'll just do one more, and then we're out of here. We'll do one more, guys. Paleocrat, YouTube.com. There we go. Pontifex retweets. I already talked about it. Tucker Carlson talked on Trump. I already talked about it. It's a 3-hour-long show, man. 3-hour-long show. So I'm good. I'm good, man. Yeah. So we'll talk about this. We'll talk about the Great Reset here. We'll talk about that. We didn't talk a lot about all the evidence of the things here. Actually, you know what? No, we're not even going to talk about the Great Reset. We've talked about that yesterday. We are, however, going to follow up and finish on this. Second, Detroit Leaks video released. I'm actually really glad about this because we've supported the folks, Shane Trejo, over at Big League Politics. So we talk about their articles frequently on the show. We cite them as a authoritative source. We love their work. And they had Detroit Leaks, but those were audios that were done. So the second Detroit Leaks video is released. Court case that gave ballot observers close proximity to election workers was hidden from GOP observers, and we have a video proof. So right here, Michigan's radical Democrat AG, Dana Nessel, sent a cease and desist letter to Big League Politics demanding they remove all stories, audio, and video related to Detroit Leaks. We've been sharing it here. It's still available on our stuff. I haven't been notified. I didn't get any letter telling me that we got to stop. I read you did that to some other guy. That was sad. That was really unfortunate, man. I don't know why you'd be such an authoritarian, anti-constitutionalist weirdo. An undercover expose that revealed that Detroit poll workers were being trained in how to get away with voter fraud by ejecting GOP poll challengers and trained in how to destroy ballots. Again, these were the trainers. Training people. You can hear everybody in the background. They're all laughing. In the audio recordings, the election trainer can be heard telling the workers she's training, quote, challengers and poll watchers. They have to wear a mask and they have to stay 6 feet away. The election trainer explained how the 6 feet rule would keep poll challengers from being able to view what they're doing. Quote, that's important because they can come behind your table, but if they don't have 6 feet, they can't come back there. A trainee can be heard attempting to clarify what the trainer was saying. Quote, so the 6 feet back, unless they have really good vision, they can't actually see. Incredibly, the Wayne County, of all places, Wayne County, elections trainer answers, quote, exactly. Unless you got really good vision or they brought their binoculars, she mocked. The election trainer told the workers to call 911 if the poll challengers, quote, make a scene. But Shane Trejo, who refused to be silenced by AG Dana Nessel, shared a second Detroit Leaks video exclusively with the Gateway Pundit. And this is crazy. This is crazy because Detroit Leaks Part 2 reveals an October 28th settlement of a lawsuit filed by the Republican House candidate Steve Carra of Three Rivers against Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson and Director of Michigan Bureau of Elections Jonathan Brader. That gave poll challengers the right to stand closer than 6 feet when necessary to observe the ballots, the poll book, or to make a challenge. So they were allowed. We talked about that, by the way. We talked about that idea. The suit was settled in the Michigan Court of Claims with Judge Cynthia Stevens presiding over the case. Judge Stevens asked the new directive to be shared with poll workers by Election Day. You can read it right there. To the extent that it is necessary to stand in closer proximity to election workers to have a challenge heard, to observe the poll book, or perform any other legal duty, challengers and poll watchers are permitted to do so, provided close personal interaction is as brief as possible. However, despite the lawsuit giving poll challengers the ability to do this, one of the most common complaints by GOP poll challengers who filed affidavits was that the TCF Center in Detroit, that they were not allowed to stand close enough to view absentee ballots, envelopes, or poll books. And according to Shane Trejo, Detroit Leaks Part 2 shows how Democrats obscured their protocol to deliberately disenfranchise poll challengers on Election Day. This is great, by the way. This is the video that Gretchen Whitmer, Dana Nessel, and Jocelyn Benson don't want you to see. Trejo's video should help future lawsuits from GOP poll challengers whose legal right to view absentee ballots and poll books by Wayne County election workers and roaming agitators was clearly violated. Let's see how long is this video. We'll skip around here, but I'll go ahead and I'll play a little bit of this. I'll cut out and let you play it. And when we come back, we're going to go to the split screen and say goodbye.
Challengers and poll watchers. They have to wear a mask and they have to stay 6 feet. That's important because they can come behind your table. But if you don't have 6 feet, they can't come back there. Any questions?
So for 6 feet back, once they have really good vision, they can actually see.
Exactly. Yes, they got really good vision, or they brought their binoculars. That's the rule, right? And you are entitled to your 6 feet.
Is that common? I mean, can we expect that?
Yep, there's a coming. They're coming. I don't know if they're coming to every precinct, but they're coming to many of them in the city. Yes, we have already gotten word. The state has already said they're coming.
Observe proper social distancing. There is, as indicated in the complaint, a written directive issued on October 16th, 2020 from defendants indicating the following. Challengers, poll watchers. While challengers and poll watchers have their rights and responsibilities established under law, Election workers can strictly enforce requirements that they observe proper social distancing. Challengers and poll watchers are subject to the requirement in MDDHS order to use face coverings in enclosed places, unless exempt due to health reasons. Defendants will, as soon as possible, but no later than tomorrow, October 29th at 5 p.m., issue amended written guidance or a directive to clerks or local election officials saying something substantially as follows. Challengers, poll watchers. Challengers and poll watchers have certain rights and responsibilities established by Michigan election law. Challengers and poll watchers are required to wear masks that cover the nose and mouth to the extent medically able to do so consistent with the MDHHS order, and maintain social distancing when not performing their legal duties. Challengers and poll watchers should maintain at least 6 feet of distance between themselves and election workers and voters as reasonably possible. However, to the extent that it is necessary to temporarily stand in closer proximity to election.
The refinement, there will be some further refinement, but fundamentally, substantively, that is essentially what Director Brader said in the email we attached in our response. So there shouldn't be any problem.
There shouldn't be a problem. Oh, but there was.
For my purposes, the key aspects of this agreement are that while challengers are to be masked unless medically unable to do so, and to distance at 6 feet when not performing their tasks, they are permitted to approach poll workers in order to effectuate their work, doing so as briefly and efficiently as possible. That's generally what I think I've heard you say.
That is, in general terms, my understanding as well, Your Honor.
That is correct on behalf of plaintiffs, Your Honor.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much.
And that didn't happen, by the way.
Resolve this amongst yourselves.
Despite the signed settlement, poll workers were hardly informed of this new policy, and challengers were impeded anyway. It cannot be overemphasized, as a direct result of Detroit leaks, a lawsuit reversed the poll challenger distance policy. But no effective action was ever taken, and a critical safeguard for clean elections was not present.
Is it the candidate who doesn't have a penis?
Wow, really?
I'd say so.
You may never have heard of Dana Nessel.
Wow.
She's the highly partisan.
Really? Okay, we're gonna cut it there, guys. This is a family-friendly show, Miss Nessel. This is a family-friendly show, you sick freak. Dude, doesn't she just look gross, by the way? She's looking pretty hit. Pretty hit. Oh, man, dude. I'm talking about very grody things, man. There's better ways to put it. There's better ways to put that. Sweet Harmony said, I filed my affidavit. Poll watchers were intimidated. This was in Floyd County, Georgia. You were down in Floyd County. You got it. You have to message me, Sweet Harmony. Message me today. Send me something. Let's talk. Send me something in paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. It'll be on the screen here in just a moment. Or if you go to paleocratdiaries.com, it has a little chat module at the bottom, and you can open that box, and what you send there, that will go directly to me. So I'll know that you sent me a message. Okay. Many problems were observed, and by the way, thank you for doing what you did. That's amazing. And you're in a key place too, by the way. I'm really glad that you're on here. And you said binoculars were not prohibited in the Georgia law. Okay. Without binoculars, you can't see the votes, the numbers of the tally sheet, or what they are entering into the computer. They made up their own unlawful rule against binoculars during the Georgia audit recount. That's remarkable. We definitely need to talk. And they refuse to say man or woman. Okay. Okay, we got it. We have to talk, Sweet Harmony. I'm really grateful for all of you who tune into the show. I am. You don't even know. You don't even know how grateful. All right. What an amazing day it was. Super glad. You've been along for the ride. It's been a good time. But like all good things, it's over. We gotta go. But it's really only the beginning, and you can keep on track. Coming along on the train ride, Paleocrat Diaries. paleo.com. If you'd like to interview me, or you'd like to be interviewed on the show, we're going to be setting it up over the weekend. If you'd like to have me come and do a speech at your church or organization, club or school, college or university, doesn't matter. Any other inquiry as well, paleocratdiary@gmail.com. Make sure, of course, go over and subscribe. Check out the videos and the playlists, not only at Paleocrat's YouTube channel, Holy Faith Media's YouTube channel, Paleo Cheese Podcast, that's my other show with my buddy Chad, as well as Meaning of Catholic, where I serve as a contributor for politics as well as other things, with my boy, Timothy Flanders. Well, everybody, I hope you have a great weekend. Keep rocking out, and I will see you next Monday, 10 a.m. And until next time, never give up. Keep on smiling, and memento mori.
If I don't talk into microphones, I don't make that mad cash. Making all that money. Making that mad loot, right?
Mind control.
So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. This causes a backlash. People get ticked off. The left is working long and hard to make us feel as if we've done something wrong. Worse yet, that we are the problem. Don't let people just rip on your heritage. Don't let people just rip on your traditions. Don't let people rip on your heroes. Stand up for what you believe, what made you who you are. So unless this disenfranchised majority begins standing up for what they believe in their heart of hearts to be true, I think we'd be left with nothing more than a dirge, and maybe a funeral procession.